was head coach. Duggan was with Halfley at Boston College. Also, offensive coordinator Adam Stenovich is said to be speaking with at least one unnamed team. Last night in the NBA, the Cavaliers beat the Magic 114-98. The Lakers dumped the Bulls 129-118. Timberwolves over the Warriors 108-83. The Bucks are at Philly tonight. The Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake now! Everybody wake!
With the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with the number of cameras.
Take the cameras off the field, then there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, Biller, for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 jet. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18, Bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all we're going to do. Let's go out and kick some tape. From right. 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. You got to send our guys after and make the play. Be right, all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, be hand, see puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid,
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
and Armin Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Sanchez, we ready?
Ready.
Let's do it. Tuesday edition of the Huddle. Let's huddle up on a balmy 12-degree morning.
Can I be
Good
Pablo
night.
Sanchez from Backyard Baseball?
Yeah, sure.
Because that son of a gun was a weapon back in the day.
This is the best player in the history of that game.
He could rake.
Right?
I'd put some respect on Pete Wheeler's name. You stroll up to the batter's box holding the barrel of the bat, flip that son of a gun around, and then Jet Williams steal 70 bags. That's a hard thing to compete with. But
I know this is a
leader
total,
in the clubhouse there for Pablo Sanchez.
It's
No
a
doubt.
total segment, Jack, but the Admirals are having a Pablo Sanchez night.
Isn't that crazy how that happens?
Yeah.
Pablo Sanchez.
Pretty awesome.
Best video game athlete, Pablo Sanchez, Bald Bull.
Yes, hard to beat.
Hard to beat Bald Bull.
It was also in the time where video game characters had real episodic television shows, which actually in the content world today we could use, right? I mean, we would get the Yu-Gi-Oh, we'd get the Pokemon shows. You'd get a bunch of offshoot, different Mario try to even have themselves a show at one particular point. I still think one of the greatest to come out of that time, Carmen Sandiego. I don't know if the Sprout was rocking that computer game.
No,
at
she
all.
wasn't on that one.
They had a TV show and Rockapella did.
You better believe they had a TV show in there. Yeah.
I didn't know if you were okay. I didn't know if he was in your vintage, Billy, but we watched that thing every week. Every week. Are you kidding me?
Good.
It was educational, and
we need more of that. We need more of those in this world. We
Yes,
need more
indeed.
opportunities for the youngsters to enrich themselves.
Yes,
There's no
indeed.
wishbone anymore. Or what are we doing? Reading nowadays? That's a good Tuesday buy or sell start.
come on
There
now.
you go. Yeah, we're going to get to some buying and selling today. We got some Luke Bryan tickets to give away. No buying
I
or
know.
selling needed. We're giving those away after 7 o'clock. But today we begin because we're in this kind of this purgatory before Super Bowl week, right? It's like, what do you got? Yeah, okay. We got to follow the Bucks. Found some college hoop. Marquette's been disappointing.
Those are
Badgers
all
been up
enjoyable
and down.
Yeah.
Bucks have been just a train wreck, and Giannis is out. I mean, we got the All-Star break coming up soon. But right now, it's just we're focused on this coaching carousel in the National Football League. And I don't think we're going out on any shaky branch here to say that the remaining jobs will be filled this week. If not by tomorrow,
Yeah, well,
Thursday?
and I was wondering, Drew, how much of the jobs that end up getting filled, or we will start to know who will ultimately fill them if they're going to try to hire somebody off one of the two staffs that is coaching in the Super Bowl. Maybe Clint Kubiak ends up with one of these gigs, but it's like a Kyle Shanahan deal when he was with Atlanta, and they tell everybody, you know, that he's going to be the guy, but you can't be formally introduced. But I'm with you. I would probably say in the next 36 hours, we're going to get the head jobs solved. And then it starts the full domino that we started seeing a couple of those fall in Green Bay yesterday off of the apparently top secret, super special meeting that Matt LaFleur and Jeff Hafley had to discuss this whole coaching staff.
Who can you take?
Who can I take?
Yeah.
Who do you want? More importantly, hey, you take this guy too? Wait, would you be? You know, hey, I'm giving you, why don't we take a little bit here? This isn't just full one side of the lunch table is handing over and you can swap back. We could, maybe you help us out, because as Sean Duggan leaves, as well as Downard yesterday in the defensive room, it seems like there's some musical chairs and they're trying to find Mr. Adam Stenavich a chair without telling him, hey, the chair that you were sitting in is now being taken by somebody else.
That's a rough situation, right? Because you think, hey, there's more jobs open, there's more staffs open, but not really. It does remind me a little bit. I mean, all these are real people with real lives, but they're being like, they're little pieces on a chessboard for both of these guys. Like, all right, you want this guy? It does feel like a little bit of bubblegum in a dish, in the backyard when you're picking teams a little bit. It's like, who do you want? Who do I want? A little bit of like, they're in an office with a big risk board and they're both kind of like divvying out who they've got here. Like,
well, if they're playing Risk, this thing's never ending.
Yeah, never ending.
At that point, there's no chance we're finishing this thing in the next 36 hours.
Risk or Monopoly. Never finished a game of either.
Next week we might
never
get the
got
answer.
to a winner. I always dipped out. Don't have the attention span.
No shot.
But they are. It seems like we're working together on it. Like, how often do you see that? Maybe you do amongst friends, but yeah.
But the NFL. Here's the thing. NFL does not. It's probably not a rule, or it's a gentleman's agreement among owners. Like the league, they don't want any major announcements during Super Bowl week.
Correct.
You don't rock the
Clean
boat.
that up.
You got this week. You've had time.
Yep.
Or get off the pot, right? You got to just make your hires, and there might be, like you said, Billy, like somebody from one of these two staffs might be the last guy, but that's almost like that's one of the disadvantages of going to the Super Bowl is that if you're an assistant or if you're striving or you want to move on to another job, you kind of got something else on your plate. And it can actually, you think it would help, but
I would look no further than like Nate Scheelhaus and Chris Shula, the guys in Los Angeles. A week and a half ago, they were the talk of the town. They were everybody's favorite, and they were most likely Shula, potentially Steelers, and Scheelhaus, he was with the Browns yesterday. He still might end up getting that job. Had like 3 or 4 different pots on the stove that he was simmering around. And now you end up losing in the NFC title game. You can still get all of your in-person stuff here today, but it is as microwaved as possible. The young man in Denver, Davis Webb, who, again, he's like 31 years old, 31 years old. Josh Allen's best friend. Apparently very much in for the Bills job. Also, Raiders. My man flew across the country yesterday for the 2 different interviews because they're like, hey, we're at this point. We would like to get you in the building in-house, but it's going to have to be truncated because we got to make this decision pretty soon here.
Well, they wasted their time with Phillip Rivers. You know what I mean? I guess so.
Yeah. Reading the tea leaves out in the desert. Packers get Jonathan Gannon, so that story's, booming out there. They're talking about Jonathan Gannon's going to be the Packers defensive coordinator. And the Cardinals in their search are doing a second-day interview, and they held him over for dinner last night with Mike LaFleur, brother of Matt LaFleur. And I got to say, if you ask me right now, I know nothing. I've barely followed the Cardinals search. I barely even am aware of the Cardinals other than they played the Packers this year, and they got Kyler Murray and a couple of decent players, but they've been underperforming, underachieving, and underwhelming for decades.
Decades, yes.
But I think they're going to hire Mike LaFleur. Why? Why do you think that, Billy? Where's my logic on that they're going to hire Mike LaFleur?
Because it would indicate that with the Rams across the chest that he's probably eaten at the breakfast table with Sean McVay. So that means you get a head coaching job.
Your logic is not flawed, but I think it's more basic than that. That they've just fired Jonathan Gannon, whose specialty was what?
Defense.
And then the other finalists are apparently Anthony Campanelli with Packers roots from the Jags, and
defense,
and the other guy, Anthony Weaver,
defense.
So when you just fired a defensive guy, we're going to the offensive guy.
Absolutely.
We always go with what we didn't have before because that's going to solve our problems. It's like we got to flip.
You got to flip this thing around.
If we had a disciplinarian coach, we're going to the player's gentle coach. If we had a gentle coach, they walked all over him. We got to get a sergeant, drill sergeant in here. We always go the opposite. And so that's like, I see that and it's like, oh, Mike LaFleur, they're not letting him out of the building.
Yeah.
A second day. Let's go.
Probably a brunch in Paradise Valley, a nice little spot here today that they'll lock everything down in maybe an Old Town.
This is it's a broader topic. The NicoletLaw.com talking text line never closes, but if you want to hit us up during our show between 5 and 8, 877-794-1973. I would love if somebody would record, like if some of these interviews are on Zoom, some of them are in person. I don't know if that holds more weight. Like if you do a Zoom interview and then somebody else flies in, do you think, oh, well, he's getting the job, I got no chance?
Well,
is that a disadvantage now in the modern environment, or is it like online dating where, the dating apps, like that's how people meet?
I was going to say, I don't know that you can catfish that much in a 7-hour interview, right? Like, so whether you're on Zoom or not, because Joe Brady was interviewing for the Raiders job on Sunday. Well, there's apparently a pretty important person that was, something tells me not in Las Vegas on Sunday.
Okay.
The guy that apparently is heading the search named Tom Brady, who was calling the game in Seattle while the interview was going on. So, Drew, I'm with you. Like, if I'm Joe Brady, I'm looking around saying, all right, so I guess I better hope that I get one of these other gigs because I'm definitely not getting that one. If they decided to schedule it while my man is 4 states away and we're doing this online.
Yeah. Unless, that's true too. Like it could be a situation where, it's ease of scheduling and we want to talk to you so bad, even if you can't fly.
Oh, you can spin it.
Even if you can't fly and we need to talk to you. So
or we need to check a box and say that we did our due diligence and like you're a lower tier on our priority list. But I don't know, like Matt LaFleur might have been lower tier on the Packers priority list and then he blew him away in the interview. Like, this is the guy. And Murphy was, that's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, we don't need any more, and that's it. So I'm fascinated by this. I wish somebody would release an interview because if you're interviewing in a cycle and you're in the spin cycle for like 4 or 5 different teams, I don't know how you prepare for that. How do you even seem fluent on their personnel? These guys do know the league, but unless you played somebody that year and you did the deep dive, you're kind of just bluffing and you're talking about general concept.
You're throwing a lot of stuff out there. And I would wonder how much of that background, it's a great point that you bring up on your own players, the team that you're interviewing for their players. Because I've always thought about it from the team perspective. Why not interview everybody? Why not grab as many interviews and as many conversations as possible? It's the only time I can get an objective viewpoint from my competition. What you think of my team? What you think of my defense? What do you think of the players you have right here? How would you utilize these guys? How would you make Keyshawn Nixon not jump away from a guy on 3rd down at the goal line? How do you find a way to emotionally, intelligence-wise, be able to drive home the fact that you don't catch the ball on 4th down, 27 yards down the field? Like the hit, run, and cover, things that Leroy Butler said. How are you able to institute that with a Quay Walker and a Edgerrin Cooper, or if we add in Tyron Hopper and he's the starter, how are you moving those guys around? So I think that part of the conversation is definitely a piece, but I imagine there's some of, hey, we understand that you're going to car wash these things 4 or 5 times. There's probably a little bit of a grace period if you accidentally say somebody else's number 3 wide receiver, if you're Mike LaFleur in this interview, and all of a sudden you're talking about Scotty Miller, like, hey man, that was yesterday with the Steelers.
That's what I'm wondering about that. And then what are the generalities? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Having my 5th straight Super Bowl parade with you. Like
do they ask
champagne on your private jet?
Do they ask those type of questions or they waste their time?
Know. And it's like
a contract extension announced.
We do have a level, we have a little window with the combine and the stuff they ask guys that are coming out before the draft.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, that can be really weird. Like some of those questions, like the personality stuff that they're diving into. Is it get to that level? Is it more about when you it's so insular a little bit? Like everybody's worked with somebody like this guy. And a little bit like the radio industry. Like, oh, you work with that guy, I know that guy, and like I like that guy. It's a little bit like any industry where there's that kind of crossover and you're working competing companies maybe, and this is the way we did this and we did this
there's
way.
Usually a knowledge of these guys by these people already because everyone knows each other. It's not like someone comes off the street with a resume.
You have somebody in your building that knows the guy or like with LaFleur. It's like, I'm sure Mike LaFleur is getting advice from Matt, and just the way that Matt advised McVay and Mike LaFleur as they were getting ready to play.
Raheem and all those guys that have ended up getting jobs. And also, I think there's something to some of the, there's like 3 agents that are representing most of these coaches.
That's a good point,
So
Billy.
you're able to discuss a lot of this stuff. And that's where I think more of it, Drew, is probably who's on your staff than what you think of the team. Right? Like, who are you able to bring in? Who are we going to have? And, for Arizona, for Mike LaFleur, I saw it, and because you're spot on the flip it onto the other side of the coin, offense to defense. It also, to me, was like, hey, we're going to give this Kyler Murray thing one last chance.
Yeah.
And then we're throwing him out. Yeah. Like, we're going to give it one more chance.
Double secret probation.
This is your last chance, bub. And we're going to bring in the offensive coach, give you one last gasp. And if it doesn't work, then we'll go and find somebody else in the top 5 of the draft. But you find teams that are trying to get, there's so much incestuous nature to it, like you mentioned, but it comes back to who have you worked with? Who do you know? And a lot of times that Packers fans aren't going to like to hear this. The last name is going to help Mike LaFleur get one of these jobs more than it's going to hurt.
That's true.
Packers fans would not like it. I think that last name is going to help.
And you're right. He was drinking from the fountain of the McVay, sparkling spring.
Come on. Yeah,
right?
Are you serious?
So and you're in the division, right? And you got to be, he's got some intel over there. He's going to help us. Like, maybe
they just ran a 40
code
on us. Oh yeah. There's moments there where Michael Bidwell's looking around saying, "I want that guy."
And then I'm wondering, like,
don't pay him anything.
Okay, so McCarthy to Pittsburgh, he walks in, and it's just such a great, first of all, they're looking for a guy. They've always gone with younger guys, right? Historically. And then he's a Pittsburgh guy, and they lean into that. And then the fan base goes nuts, and they have to put out a statement saying, look what he's done with quarterbacks, and he's going to be our guy. And they have to kind of calm the waters a little bit.
Has there been one team that's been happy with anything that's come out about
There's been
squad?
I make
Not
the case,
really.
Billy, there's no fan base in the NFL that's actually been happy for most of the year for the last 2 years.
I mean,
and
even
I know
just
that,
this.
Right. I mean, I know there are teams now that are winning. So obviously Patriots fans are happy and Seahawks fans are happy, but this is a good example. No fan base is ever happy, but the thing is that everyone, those voices are all given a platform now because of social media. So feels like there's so much of it. It's like they feel like they got to respond to it.
And Packers fans are a perfect example because they're like, well, Jonathan Gannon.
Right, exactly.
He was
Billy
a
talked
loser,
about it yesterday.
right? Yeah, exactly. And it, who was excited? Like, Jeff, who? The coach at BC?
Yeah.
What?
They stink. What are
and
we
he comes
talking
in,
about?
you see a press conference, you say, oh, I like this guy. You say, oh, and then you watch his defense, you go, oh, okay.
We got a lot of friends.
Right.
We even have a lot of friends, that we've worked with that are Dolphins fans that were texting me. They're how upset they were with the Jeff Hafley hire. They're like, this guy's done nothing. What's the point of this? What a terrible hire.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
everybody's unhappy.
Now,
it was baked in. Even Ravens fans, they get the number 1 guy in Minter, and they're like, well, we have an MVP quarterback here and go with a defensive guy. What do we know anything here?
What are we doing? Yeah, and I want to look at it again from the other side, from these guys that are interviewing. And you're interviewing for multiple jobs, and you want one of them, and you're just trying to put your best foot forward. There are probably, if you're interviewing for 5 jobs, you have an order of the ones you want.
You absolutely
I want this one, and there are some. I'm wondering, I'd love to get LaFleur with some beers on the table and talk about this part of it and say, okay, when you're interviewing for this, there are probably some. It's like I mentioned again, the dating apps. You go for coffee with somebody, you hit it off, and then they ghost you. And it's like, and then there are probably sometimes when you think, and that was kind of awkward. I was kind of clumsy. I didn't come off great. And then you get the second date on Bumble, and you get the second. I wonder how they read that, and if there are some. Do you walk out of there knowing you got the job?
And then there's sometimes you walk out of there thinking, man, I just killed it. And all of a sudden she just texts you back. All you did was talk about the 2001 Bucks all
day. Right. And you're thinking, I thought that was great.
I thought that was phenomenal.
It was funny. I was insightful.
I thought she wanted to know more about
content. I was current. I tipped the bartender. Yes. I did all these things you're supposed to do that all these podcasts are telling you to do. But it's just like any other. But you know what? Any other job situation now, everyone's saying it's all AI anyway. So there's another thing. You talk about dating, it's like the regular job thing. It's all a crazy world now. And you're right. You might have an insight about how someone else perceived you or how the interview went, and it might be totally the opposite, right? It might be the total opposite of what's going on. Meanwhile, she's texting her friend saying how weird this dude was. Why did I waste my time?
Yes.
And you're sitting there thinking, man, those drinks cost a lot, It's like
Armin always brings it back to his wallet.
And then you always say this. But it's like maybe I used the wrong emoji when I said had a great time tonight.
So they take Mike LaFleur to
Thought
dinner.
the devil was a good one.
They take Mike LaFleur to dinner last night, and I'm sure they're going to like Mastro's or someplace or some private room at some expensive steakhouse. Does Mike LaFleur even like reach for the wallet? Hey, you want me to get this? Like,
yeah, you got to try the alligator arms move.
Or you got I got this.
What do you
I thought
order
my
for
favorite
dinner?
was the. That's why I still appreciate Arthur Blank. I don't know if you followed along on their closing deal for Kevin Stefanski. Took him to Arthur Blank Steakhouse.
There you go.
That's pretty baller.
Arthur Blank said, "Hold on, I got something to do." Went back to the kitchen, picked out those 4 Wagyu ribeyes, throwing them son of a guns on the grill.
You don't want these 4.
Arthur Blank prime quartered the dinner for the closing interview. How do you say no?
That is so money.
How do you say no?
And he said, hey, Marcel, go downstairs and get the special wine. We need the
special.
bottle.
And all this to try and find the right guy that's going to somehow win the 3-point game in the final minutes and get the 4th downs and not miss them. Because this winning and losing is such a small margin in this league anyway. And that's all it is.
You see Arthur Blank over there just flipping around your T-bone, and you're like, man, I was really hoping this would be a little bit more medium than medium rare. You're not sending that thing back.
Send it back. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we had a little interview. We had a little first date with the newest Brewers yesterday. They met with the media, Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat. And we're going to spin through some of that conversation that they had yesterday. We're going to play a little OK Stop. I love that. With the Zoom call that was conducted with local reporters. And you'll get to get a little taste and you get to meet the newest members of the Brewers who are going to be rooming together in spring training. How about that? Because they're the only guys that they know. We will do that when we come
Get out
back.
of your comfort zone, young men.
You can win Luke Bryan tickets after 7. We got Dolph coming in, and he's our halftime reporter. It's going to be a fun day here. Let's huddle up. You're listening to The Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Lyrically, I'm supposed to represent. I'm not only a client, I'm the player president. I got that good flow, girl, you didn't know.
Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 in Madison. Rockin' Rivers, Shaking Lakes, taking no prisoners on this Tuesday. Dolph's going to be in about an hour from right now.
That would be a good boy band name.
Shop
Morning Men.
Yeah.
But you would really have to be waking some people up at like Kips Inn or a third shifter bar.
Yeah, you definitely.
You're rocking that one out at 9 o'clock and the morning men come on. People are going to start wondering when you're taking the stage.
It's also a little too obvious. It's got to be like M3
That's
or something like that.
That's the Sirius XM Sports Radio morning show, too. Morning Man.
Oh wow.
Evan
How
Cohen
did we
was
not
on
know
that
that?
before he went to Unsportsmanlike, and then
okay.
Mike Babchick and the Amendola guy, or whatever the dude's name is.
With all the podcasts out there now, you guys ever wonder when we're running out of names? I think we're running out of names.
We
I
are.
don't know. You go to Dudes on Dudes, and I think we're just getting good. I think we might just be getting good.
Dudes on Dudes is playing at a seedy theater in the
True.
That's straight to Netflix.
We're running out of
Castro
singular.
district.
Yeah, we're running out of singular words that are sort of like intense and impactful, but sort of not that are now podcast titles, like intimidated or unintimidated or
Daunted, Undaunted.
Yes.
We're kind of
Brewers
running out of
Undaunted
those
podcast.
words. Yeah,
You really do just have to put a prefix at the beginning of whatever word.
Yeah.
And it adds such a different unfiltered.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Oh, there you go.
And
now we're talking.
Unindoctrinated would be a good one for
Oh,
like an
yeah.
outsiders.
I still think Armin Sarian Filtered would be a
Filtered.
podcast that people would be
We gotta-
very
yeah.
interested in.
The pendulum swings just like coaching searches. Instead of it
You'll-
filtered, the likable. Like you know, what I mean?
You'll
I want to
never,
hear somebody tell me the company lines.
Yeah, exactly.
you'll
Right.
never top the Three Armigos.
Never will. That'll
The
never
Armenian
happen.
podcast.
It never happened. But maybe one
I
day
know.
we'll bring that thing back. Maybe
You
not.
should. You
I thought
should.
it was a typo the first time I saw it on the system.
We were big in Pasadena. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
know.
Big
When
in
you-
Pasadena,
yeah.
right, and parts of surrounding LA. All right,
Home,
so we've been talking about the coaching thing and getting to know the coaches and this process, because the carousel is going to stop. We think this week all the coaching vacancies will be filled. The Packers losing 2 defensive coaches.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a reason to sweat, because Jonathan Gannon's bringing some dudes with him.
Yeah.
Like one of the guys, this guy, Nick Raylis, I think it is, his linebackers coach, has been with him in Philly, took him from Philly to Arizona. Now he's going to take him from Arizona to Green Bay.
And he was the one that was calling the defense. And I think this is going to be important, where he says, hey, by the way, I'm going to call the defense now. Clearly it didn't work all that well. You coach your linebackers, and we got a couple of fun ones for you to coach. This one, Duggan, you mentioned, was with Hafley at BC there for a while before, and I think came with him from the Niners, or had like some.
Yes, they were. I think they were together.
Or at Ohio State. So they've been together for a long time. And the Downard one, people will be a little down, pardon the pun, on it, because he's a good, young, exciting coach.
He's been there a while, right?
Yes, right. So like, I guess to me, it's not too surprising. And this would be one of those situations where if you're going to hire, and I know that this was a little bit contentious, a little back and forth. Tom Silverstein, Spoon, was getting after it with people in the comments last night on Twitter,
which is something special to see when he does. You know,
always here for it when Spoon's
Yeah.
going to start hitting replies. Right, you're going to start getting some good stuff, because his question was, why not just interview Jim Leonhard? Why not just wait a little bit? And I don't know how in demand this guy was. Is he really in that demand? It sounds like Gannon had a couple of different offers. We don't know those for sure. I don't know that we ever will. But if somebody's in demand, you're not getting them by saying, hey, by the way, you're going to keep all of our assistants. Right? Like, so there were going to be some awkward conversations, whether there were defections down to Miami, Drew, right?
Yeah.
Or not. There were going to have to be some weird ones, because he's not just going to walk in here and coach with a bunch of guys that he's never coached with before.
Absolutely. That's how it works. All right. We have 2 new Brewers, Brandon Sproat, Jet Williams. They were on a Zoom yesterday. We want to listen to some of this, and we will
this was good
play a little okay stop with it, if you will. If you got any comment to make, just say, okay, stop. Armin's going to stop the tape, and we will hear what some of what the 2 newest Brewers had to say during their first availability, the getting to know you presser that they had.
You better get some Hunter questions in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's roll it, Armin.
I guess, Brandon, when you look at the types of pitchers that will be going for this team's starting rotation, and Jet, when you look at some of the tools and profiles of the guys in their lineup, just generally, what do you think about your fit with this club? From our vantage, it looks like you sort of were kind of made for this organization, and I'm wondering if that struck you at all.
You can go first, Brandon.
I think a lot of the players with the Brewers organization is just people who just go to work every single day, keep their head down, really not much to it. Just constantly grinding through the good and the bad. That's something that I think I have in common with that.
Yeah, I think just look.
Stop. I kind of 4 cliches there in 10 seconds. So it's a good start for him. That was good work.
And from top to bottom of the lineup and kind of the way they play, a bunch of short guys that are a little bit scrappy. So similar to me. But no, I think just the way they play the game is kind of similar to how I play. Just kind of go out there each and every day and play really, really hard. The ultimate goal is to win. And they are pretty good at doing that. Obviously that, just coming in, different organization and everything. I think that, me and Brandon have a good knowledge of kind of knowing what to do, of trying to help everybody win. And, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, they work real hard. So just coming in each and every day and just try to work as hard as possible.
Welcome to Milwaukee. I'm Steve McGarry from the Associated Press. I'm just wondering with Jet, you've played a number of different positions coming up the system at the Mets. What do you consider your natural position, and what's the feedback you've gotten from the Brewers about where they plan to start you out at?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm pretty comfortable at all 3 positions now. I think I've played them so much now that they kind of come natural. I think for me, as long as I'm playing, I don't really care what position I have or I'm playing. Really, it's just as long as I'm on the field, just trying to help the team win. Kind of just showing up every day wherever they want to put me. I guess that day I'll work really hard to get ready at whatever position they want me to play. As of right now, it's at shortstop, but anything can change. So I think just kind of going into it with an open mind of wherever they want to put me, I'll play.
Hey, Jet, you had mentioned a little earlier, kind of the crack about the height. Murph likes to make a lot of jokes about that with Durbin, with Frelick. And Durbin's been pretty open about his past experiences, about how he's had to kind of overcome his height and prove to people that he can play regardless of whether he's, tall, short, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if that has played into your experiences as a baseball player over the years, and have you had to try to overcome that and prove to people that you can play despite your height?
Yeah, I think just kind of growing up, it's always been, I guess, a little bit of, hey, is he 5'7" or 5'8"? And I think my brothers and my family have kind of helped me. I think obviously everybody says what they want to say, but I think I hear it worse from my brothers and my family just joking around. So I think I'm kind of used to it by now. But yeah, I think just that's kind of what made me the player I am today, of just kind of how everybody says something and just kind of always similar to the Brewers, the way they play, a little bit of chip on their shoulder and scrappy. So I think just it's going to be a good fit.
Hey guys, welcome to Milwaukee. I'm with our flagship radio station. I'm Dominic. I just wanted to ask Brandon, you come up in a really stressful time for the Mets last year and make 4 starts that felt like every single one is for consequence for them. Just what do you take from just getting that first taste of the big leagues to come into camp this year?
Yeah, obviously, those first 4 starts, it was big situations, but it was fun. Just go out there and just, do the best I can and, hopefully come out on top. But those 4 starts just helped get my feet wet. So now I know, how those games are, how the environment is, and all of it was super fun to be a part of. So going into camp, kind of, I'm not gonna say used to, but kind of have an idea of what it's going to be like.
Thanks, guys. Hunter here from Fox Sports 920 radio station here in Milwaukee. Brandon, this for you, knowing the track record that the Brewers have and what they've been able to do with pitchers coming into the organization and the success that they've had. How excited are you to get into that environment and get to work this spring with this organization?
No, I'm super excited. I talked to Merv, talked to Hook the other day, and they're all excited as well. I've heard great things about Merv and how he's a great players coach. I've heard great things about Hook, but I'm super excited. I mean, every single player, not just the pitchers, but position players as well. Everyone's a grinder, like Jet mentioned. Everyone just goes to work every single day. Like I said, just keep their head down. That's all we can do. So I'm super excited to be a part of it and super excited just to get to work with those guys and, see what they have for me and just ask them questions and pick their brain.
Okay, stop. He's made 4 big league starts.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 25 years old. High draft pick out of the University of Florida, right? Played in some big college games, played in some big games down the stretch for the Mets. But that puts him in the same kind of experience level, slightly, maybe a little bit less than Miz, than Henderson and Chad Patrick.
And DL Hall when he came over, right?
Yeah, you think of these guys that the Brewers are amassing. Other than Woodruff has more starts than the rest of the rotation combined.
Oh, by far, yeah.
And it's like, but that's not a bad thing necessarily.
No, especially when you talk about having a long runway of opportunity and time with these young guys, right? I mean, we even mentioned Aaron Ashby. Now, his 5-year lottery ticket contract was signed maybe a year or so after Freddie Peralta's, but they've counted on Ashby a long time to supply a lot of innings. Whether or not all of these guys end up making starts, I'll throw Logan Henderson in there too, like a guy that we were really excited about. And you don't know necessarily if all of them end up being starters or if they move them around, but this dude, you're talking about 6 pitches and a calm demeanor up there. That's a starting pitcher for you. I also do appreciate the fact that, and I don't know if this is just some of what, agents and people will let them know. It appears that the full personality of Pat Murphy's Milwaukee Brewers has made the rounds across Major League Baseball. They've all mentioned grinders. Love Jet Williams already throwing in the short kings reference.
Love that.
You got a lot of short guys. I'm going to feel comfortable there. I'm not going to feel intimidated.
We must have got 15 references about going to work there in the last 5 minutes. Yeah. We're going to work. We're all going to work. So that culture's there.
In Frelick, Durbin, Jet Williams, Joey Ortiz, who's like 5'9" and 3/4, is like the Giants. Yeah. He's like the 5'10".
The Mighty Mites.
Yeah. That's pretty classic. Yeah. All right, back to the tape, Marmor.
For you, it's Lance Allen from CBS 58 here in Milwaukee.
Lance.
We caught up with your high school coach, Jet, and he said that you will be a fan favorite. No fans or buts about it. I know you can't control that, and I know you just laughed or whatever, but what constitutes a fan favorite? What do you do that everybody seems to love?
Yeah, I think just for me, I tell everybody I'm still a normal human being, no matter if I'm in the big leagues or
now with that name
or in the minor leagues right now. I think, like I said, my family kind of think for me, it's just try to stay as humble as possible because you never know when something could happen to you. And I think when I got hurt, it really kind of helped me like deep dive of what am I going to do if I don't play baseball? And I think just for me going into 25 last year, after I got hurt in 24, it was like just go in each every day and play like it's your last game. So you never know when that might be. So I think for me, it's just go out there and play as hard as I can. And like I was telling Murph, you're going to have to drag me off the field. Whether I'm going to be half dead on the field, I'm still going to try to stay on the field and stuff. But no, I think just like y'all said, just try to really play like it's my last game, every single game, and play as hard as I can each and every day.
Okay, stop.
Guys, there's so much crossover.
Okay, stop that
because he wants to play like that, and so he's already kind of declaring, I'm kind of a dog, right?
Yeah.
And like, look at Churio, look at Contreras, guys that won't come out of the lineup. Adames was built that way. Those are the guys you like. Sal's like that.
Sal's a great example.
Guys who play through injury and stuff.
Well, and
that's kind of the way that's part of like the Brewers culture.
The tough one is too, like I hear it and I hear Garrett Mitchell and now Garrett Mitchell hasn't been able to play through some of his injuries. It's been like catastrophic injuries where you're talking about like necessary surgery immediately following. And you kind of have to drag him off the field every single time that he's found himself back onto the injury list. So that's going to mesh well. I also do appreciate my co-host on Badger Postgame Show, Lance Allen, firing in the question of, hey man, what makes everybody love you?
Yeah. What a great question.
Now, Lance Allen's been having people love him for a long time. A lot easier for Lance Allen to say that, all right? Lance Allen, promoter. He's going to be able to set. We might need Lance Allen to be Jet Williams' wrestling-style promoter to help him answer that question next, because he's just like, I mean, maybe they like me because I'm badass, but my outfit.
I'm funny. I'm good looking. Yeah.
Look, you see my hair?
Yeah.
Is it cooler than anything else you've seen around here? Yeah, I think I'm going to be a hit on Water Street.
Speaking of your Badger post game, you guys will find out the direction of your life in the fall on Saturdays and maybe the occasional Thursday or Friday, but you're going to get the Big Ten schedule release is tonight.
Later
made
tonight.
for a primetime show on Big Ten Network.
Yeah, totally made for prime time. I think 5 Eastern, which again, like college football, I love it. They don't always make it super easy to defend all the time, Drew. However, this is the nicest thing and the easiest they make it on fans that are going to go to the games. They're telling you like 4 months ahead of time, ahead of the NFL telling you. Now, we won't tell you when the games will actually kick off.
You only get that
until
6
about
days.
6 days ahead of time.
That's when you get 6 days.
But you'll know what day it is.
4 months you get. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll tell you what day it is.
So funny.
What time? Don't worry about it.
Stay tuned.
It's like the cable company between 11 and 7.
Yeah, exactly. You can't plan too much in advance, but we'll give you the date.
Just
Yeah,
let
that's
you
coming
know.
out
Just
tonight.
let you know the day. Just block that one out for
Good
you.
stuff from the newest Brewers. You can read their comments and stuff, but that was the good stuff. And he did say, "How did you get the name Jet?" And there's a bunch of J's in his family and stuff. He shares a name with my dog. People are gonna think I named my dog after the kid.
I thought about that, Drew.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Jet Williams might have to be the Huddle's brewer.
Maybe
my full name of William.
Yes.
Just throw the Williams on there. Drew's dog.
My dog.
Sure. We're not going to have many more combinations. He might have like a grandma that's Armenian.
I'm just looking for something there.
Yeah,
because
we got to get a tie in there.
He's probably got a puka shell necklace. You used to have a puka shell necklace.
I did for a week or two.
Probably drives a Sebring too.
Oh,
that was my,
yeah.
Nothing will ever replace.
I don't
those
know.
days.
That first round pick money, Drew, he might have a Tesla.
We're off and running. It is the Tuesday edition of the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Make sure you do whatever it is that you gotta do. That's your job. And they gon' hate, but that's no problem. Don't ever trust them. They claim it don't mean nothing. It's straight from Cali. That's what's in my joint. That's what I'm puffing.
It's the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armin bringing it to you. This that song right there reminds me of our pal, the
Cirillo.
icon, Jeff Cirillo.
You got me thinking of that.
Walk-up.
When I thought of young Brewer infielders.
Yeah, icon.
When he
Young
first came
Brewer
up.
infielders from 30 years ago.
Well, he's not young anymore, but when I was young, he was young.
Rillo's one of my favorites.
He was one of my
young
favorite
at heart.
players.
He was just presiding over fantasy camp. What a crew of coaches they had.
I was going to say,
Rocks fantasy camp.
so who was all in that picture that I saw Dilly post? I obviously saw Jenks. You saw Cirillo.
Rillo, Jenks, Rotino. Then you got your old heads like Augie, Jerry Augustine, Ed Cedar, Corey Hart.
I think Corey Hart was there. I was going to say.
I did see Eddie Cedar. Did we bring cookies?
Greg Vaughn.
Hey, guys. We got some cookies here in the break room.
Did you see my bee sting?
I still think my favorite was every single time he'd walk into that locker room. Hey, fellas, how you doing today? A lot of milling around over there.
Yeah, exactly. That's Eddie.
A lot of standing going
They had
on.
Vonnie. They had Rillo. It was Corey Hart, Jenks. I'm trying to think of who.
What a good crew.
Yeah, it was. They had a Dilly,
and then they got Mike Heller popping a hammy.
Of course.
What a tale as old as time.
Every time.
I did mine too.
You got to imagine the amount of icy hot that rolls through fantasy camp is way more than you're even seeing in the second week of camp. Right after they get in their first run of games, and the vets are maybe a week out from playing. The Jet Williams of the world will get themselves a big workout in a Brewers uniform for the first 2 or 3 weeks of games, I can imagine.
Yes. 877-794-1973 gets you into the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. We just heard from new Brewers, Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat, who will be rooming together at spring training because they're so young and early in their careers that they haven't really crossed paths with a lot of like Brewers people.
Mm-hmm.
When you get when you acquire a guy who's 30, it's like, oh, I played with that guy in the minors. I played against that guy. He's from my high school. It's like they have a little bit more miles on the tires and they know more people. These guys are like, well, we know each other. We don't really know anybody else.
Yeah, you got some 6 degrees of separation where you can branch out a little bit. Now, I would have liked maybe Murph digs into the ASU days and says, hey, I'm going to send you a roster and you're going to pick out 3 different opportunities and guys you want to room with. And we're going to do a little cross. We're going to all hang out together, but this one will work out. I like this one, Drew, from the Baseball Tonight podcast. Your boy Buster Olney and Hembo, producer of Greeny in the Morning and Baseball Tonight, talking about the win-win feel for both the Brewers and the Mets into this deal.
I mean, this is just a regenerative machine that's going to continue to regenerate. I wrote down, Buster, just a handful of names here. So since David Stearns left Milwaukee, and by the way, signed a $50 million contract to do the same job with the Mets, the Brewers have either traded or lost Craig Counsell, who the Cubs paid $40 million to manage them, Corbin Burns, who signed a $210 million deal, Willie Adames, who signed a $182 million deal, Devin Williams, a $51 million closer, and now, of course, Freddie Peralta, who is 1 year at most away from signing a 9-figure contract. The Brewers are a regenerative machine. As for the return, I think it's safe to say there's probably not an organization in ball who's better equipped to maximize the skill set of a 5'7" Jet Williams than Milwaukee is. Just ask Sal Frelick or Caleb Durbin or Isaac Collins. And there probably isn't an organization in ball better equipped to harness the command issues that Brandon Sproat has. Just ask Jacob Mizorowski. Not to mention the fact that this is an organization right now that has 3 top 50 prospects that play the infield. This team is absolutely stacked and is going to continue to exceed expectations. There's going to be plenty of, think pieces written that say this is #bad for baseball because a small market team had to trade their ace to a big market team. But truthfully, I'm not going to read those pieces because I view this as being 2 teams that are doing exactly what they should be doing, given the restraints that they each have, or in the Mets case, given the luxuries that they have. To me, this is a win-win, a deal in which the Mets know they're overpaying, and a deal in which, at the end of the day, the Brewers will have won using all the measures that we use to measure who won and lost rate.
All right. If this was Monday, we'd give him a game ball.
Yeah, no doubt.
I would also say, what are you doing in this land of hot takes? You can't be that reasonable.
Yeah, you got to.
No place for that.
Everybody wins. Everybody's happy. What?
There's a place for that on our show. You are listening to The Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. We're off and running on a Tuesday in the good land.
You were flying. Oh, you were flying oh so high. But then someday people look at you. What they call their own, they watch you suffer.
Doug Russell. We may be in a deep freeze, but baseball is right around the corner, believe it or not. Last week, the trade that most Brewers fans had feared came to fruition. Freddie Peralta and his impending free agency were shipped off to the Mets for pitcher Brandon Sproat and infielder Jet Williams. Williams is shorter than your average MLB player, meaning he'll probably get some ribbing from manager Pat Murphy.
Yeah, I think just kind of growing up, it's always been, hey, is he 5'7" or 5'8"? And I think my brothers and my family kind of helped me. Obviously, everybody says what they want to say, but I think I hear it worse from my brothers and my family just joking around. So I think I'm kind of used to it by now.
Pitchers and catchers report to Maryvale on February 11th. The Bucks are at Philadelphia tonight. Also this evening in the NBA, the Nuggets host the Pistons. The Pelicans take on the Thunder. Hour 2 of the Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake
with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you. You need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with the number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field, then there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, Biller for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 jet. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18, Bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all we're going to boil down to. Let's go out and kick some tape. From right, hey, yo. 1, 2, 3. Keep doing what you're doing. You got to sit our guys after and make the play.
Feet right, all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, D-hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid,
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
and Armin Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Continuing the Tuesday edition of the Huddle. Let's huddle up today. Wisconsin, broadcasting live. Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin, 920 in Milwaukee, 1070 in Madison. Drew Olson, Bill Schmidt, Armin Sarian, live from headquarters here on a buy or sell Tuesday in the good land. Get us your buy or sell propositions, 877-794-1973.
Ooh.
Buy or sell.
Early start here. From
We got
John.
an early one right away here from John on the YouTube comments here, Armin.
Let's go. What do we got?
Sorry, yeah, popping it up again. Buy or sell. The Brewers won 90 games this season. He said, "I know, wrong day." No, you got the right
No,
day.
you got the right day, John.
Buy or
You're
sell.
right.
Today's the day.
Buy or
Maybe you're
sell
locked
Tuesday.
in.
Market's up, market's working, market's correcting.
That'd be a step down from 97 to 90, but I can see it. I'm not going to write them off.
Well, it would still be an over on the win total because of where the numbers have come in for different teams across baseball. And the Brewers at the Potawatomi Sportsbook right now sit at 85.5. I think the only other teams in the NL that were ahead of them were the Cubs. Braves were right there neck and neck. And obviously the Dodgers and Phillies would be in that conversation. But it's weird to think that 90 games is almost expected is the wrong word, Drew. But that number doesn't seem as wild and lofty as it would have if you would have talked to me in 2016. Like I thought 90 games. I'm like, okay, that's something that doesn't really happen very often. And now you've just become accustomed to it for how they play.
That's true. It's the expectations have definitely shifted, but the perception of the Brewers is always going to be nationally. It's going to be the under, right? Because they're the scrappy underdogs. I just saw a list that MLB put out, MLB Network, I think, of the top 10 second basemen, and they have Bryce Strang's 10th, which makes Brewers fan. You can choose to get mad at that, or you can just go, "Oh, that's just that's Milwaukee." Hashtag Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Steven 27.
And of course, my instant reaction is indignance, right, when I hear that. But you're right, as a Brewer fan, you want to protect your own. But there are a lot of great second basemen in this league when you start to stack them up. But just by, if you like the secondary and if you like WAR, if you like the analytics, he's up there with anybody. So,
well, and
that's just the reality.
I don't know that many people that like that number, but I do believe there's a lot of Brewers fans, myself included, that have been listening to Armin Sarians of the world say he's the most valuable player on the Brewers. I'm like, all right. That's adorable. I know we all love Bryce Terang. He's very nice, very good defensive player. But then you see the offensive pop that he gets in the second half of the year. There will be a lot more people that have the pitchforks up and the torches ready to defend him after that.
So the second baseman ranked ahead of him, MLB Now, MLB Network. Ketel Marte,
pretty good player.
Jazz Chisholm from the Yankees. Nico Horner of the Cubs. Brendan Donovan of St. Louis. Marcus Semien from the Mets. Jose Altuve. Getting long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Another short king from Houston. Gleyber Torres from the Detroit Tigers.
That one I can understand.
Xavier Edwards of the Marlins. And Brandon Lowe of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay. Well, Armin knows I like Brandon Lowe. I wanted him at the deadline last year. I'm going to have to do the gut check here on my man, Brendan Donovan. Nice player, 4 years in, never had an 800 over OPS. There's a lot of guys in there that just on first stroke, you're like, definitely better.
Doesn't the platinum glove carry more weight than that? Doesn't it kind of like elevate you a little bit?
You would think it would give you a leg up over Xavier Edwards. Again, like all due respect, but like when that name got brought up last year at the deadline, it felt like so he could be Bryce Terang's backup, or Bryce Terang would be able to move over to shortstop and you're able to supplement there. But that to me doesn't sound like a list of guys outside of a couple, and the name brand on Altuve is always going to have him probably above that, even though I don't know how many games he's actually playing at second base now. I'd have to struggle with a couple of those names on there, no doubt.
Oh, I think he's top five for
That's
sure.
That's what buy or sell is all about. 877-794-1973. For example, are you buying or selling that though he's never won a championship game and guided his team to the Super Bowl, that you'd rather have Jordan Love as your quarterback than either Sam Darnold or Drake May?
Oh, I'm selling that.
You're selling. You taking Drake May?
I'm selling that. I'm taking Drake May.
Drake May?
Yeah, I'm taking Drake May.
I thought it was more Darnold.
No. I'm going to take the 20. I'm going to take the 23-year-old that I think runs more willingly than Jordan. I think but throws the ball
if
as well,
told
if not
us
better.
anything about guys that run, it's great and effective and invigorating for a couple of years, and then after a couple of years of taking shots, then they stop running, and it's better off not to be, or not as much of the running quarterback.
Yeah, I still would take May to the point where if he does. You could eliminate the running to me, and I think he's the best young thrower of the football that we see in the league.
Drake, it's hard to say no to Drake May because obviously, being an MVP candidate at this age, and he's in a Super Bowl, but he hasn't looked great for the last month. I'll be honest with you. I think he's got to do it again for me to convince. Yeah,
in some ways,
to convince me.
But it's the alignment.
But Darnold for me is the one that's convinced me.
And Darnold just played in his biggest game of his career. He played the best game of the season.
Yeah,
he had
he's
some
really
clunkers.
good.
What did he throw this year? 14 picks.
Yeah,
and he threw 4 picks against that Rams team already.
Isn't that like 14 picks in a season? That's Tua. That's guys like that.
Led the NFL. He was right near the top of the NFL, if not the league leader with those 14 picks.
But he kind of Eli Manning in a big game. He stepped up in a big game, right? So he had his best game of the season in the biggest game of the season.
Yeah, trailed just Geno Smith and Tua Tagovailoa, right up there with Justin Herbert and somebody that I think got jobbed for the Pro Bowl yesterday, Trevor Lawrence. But there's a couple of guys in there, Drew, like consensus-wise. You ask people around the NFL, everyone would say that they would take Justin Herbert over all those guys. Well, now Justin Herbert has had 3 opportunities in the playoffs, has blown a 27-0 lead. 27-0 lead on the road. Threw 4 picks against Houston last year when I think he threw 3 picks all of the regular season. And this year barely got off the plane when they scored 3 points on the road. So to that point, when it is a put up or shut up time, that's the first time. To be fair, the first time Darnold has really shut people up with his play in the biggest game of his career. But you only have to do it once to be the flavor of the month. I see the talent. I see everything around May. And yeah, he might not have been great. You might also not be great when you're throwing the ball to Pop Douglas and Kayshon Boutte as much as he has to. You throw him with some of the weapons that there are in the NFL, and I think he's just about as good as anybody.
Okay. 877-794-1973.
Now,
what do you got for buying and selling?
Buy or sell. Adam Stenavich will not be the Packers offensive coordinator next year. And it's not because he's getting a play calling job in the NFL.
Buy. That's an interesting thing. We think so much about coordinators moving up, right? That it's linear. You move up, new job, new organization. And I always think about, well, what happens? Because it's just shuffling of the totem pole, right? I'm like, what happens to the guys with all the jobs, all the head coaches that get fired? The whole staff gets fired usually, right? So I'm like, all these other coordinators become available that might be coveted around the league. And then if you're looking to upgrade different positions, wouldn't this be the one to do it?
Yeah, but would you say, could it be, would he take a Vance Joseph? As a defensive coordinator of a team he was once the head coach of.
For Steno,
you can stay. You got to go back and coach the O-line.
That's the question.
Because the O-line was good when he was the coach.
Really good.
And it was bad this year. And I don't know what Luke Butkus and what their delineation of duties was. Because, again, you don't know what goes on. But when a guy is the OC and doesn't call plays, it would seem then that he is
that you're in the creative department. And especially when LaFleur has lauded in the past, especially when the Malik Willis games come through and the running ability, and people are like, well, the run game just looks better. He gives a lot of credit in that realm to Adam Stenavich. He says he designs so much of their running game. Well, then that would also lay a lot of blame at his feet, because their worst offensive trait this year was their lack of their inability to run the football consistently. And a team that went into the year, I think, doubling down on wanting to be a run first operation, that stunted them big time in the development this year. Where into the late stages of December, before they went to Denver, they're 9-3-1, winning 4 straight games. And we're still kind of wondering what the identity of the team is at that point. So I think it makes a lot of sense. He's interviewing in Tennessee. Now that would be a play calling job, to lead the offense for Cam Ward. Just because he worked with Robert Saleh before in the past, I don't know necessarily that is good enough to get him the gig. But you would think there would have to be some kind of movement around.
Yeah, but Saleh was advising the Packers during his sabbatical after he got fired, so he probably had contact.
And on the offensive side,
saw him working and saw him, so maybe there's the relationship there will carry the day. Because we were talking earlier about these interview processes. And what do you think it's like when you're interviewing for 6 different jobs, and how do you keep your story straight? And like, sometimes you feel good about an interview or the vibe, sometimes you feel bad. I'm still fascinated by that aspect of it, what we were talking about earlier, about how this thing is, it's a little bit like dating apps. We met with this guy, and if you're a GM, like, I never talked to this guy before, he blew me away, or I didn't get good vibes from him.
Well, in
about vibes, like, okay, I will say at the outset, for me, because I've had very few interviews in a long sports media career, the first one, I got my job as a messenger at the paper. I was like in the newsroom, like delivering mail and taking paper. When the papers came out off the press, I would take them and deliver them to everybody's desk. And
that's an awesome gig.
Yeah, and I had to open the mail, which I had really good books and CDs, because they would send them for reviews, and there were extra copies. Like, taking this one home.
Thank you very much.
I supplemented my income by taking that stuff home, my own personal library.
Well, we've done that. We've gotten books here. They've sent us advanced copies.
A guy I went to college with was in the sports department, which was adjacent to the messenger's desk, and he was leaving to go. He graduated. He was leaving for a part-time job in Rugby, North Dakota, and he's like, "Hey, you should replace me." Walked me into the sports editor's office. Hey, how about this guy? Sports editor puts down his cheeseburger. He goes, "Hey, can you type?" "Yeah." "You know what the hours are?" "Yeah." "All right, come in Monday and learn." That was my interview.
There you go.
That was my entire career hinged on that interview. After I got the job,
and
as
that
the
was
messenger.
pre-AI.
And the reason I got the messenger job is because I knew about it, because my sister worked in the credit department in a different department, and she would go to the bar across the street and knew people from the newsroom, and she heard, "Hey, they're looking for an editorial assistant, a messenger." So I went and applied for that. That's my whole career pins on those 2 interviews. I've had a couple of other ones, but the rest of it, not really. Not really a go put on a tie and interview for a job. It doesn't really work that way.
It's amazing how much things change, how much they stay the same. It's all about who you know. All right, you got one, Billy?
No, I was just gonna say, I think it lends itself to, maybe you want some people from the outside to be able to get some new eyes onto this team.
I like that. I like that one. All right, buy and sell. I'm gonna try and say this in a non-clunky way. No one has had
good sell.
Thank you. No one's had more respect from people in the league and less respect from fans outside of the league than Mike McCarthy. I don't know anyone else that the league seems to respect more.
I'm buying that.
Cornerstone
1,000
franchises,
times.
the Packers, the Cowboys, the Steelers, while fans treat him like he's the second coming of Rich Kotite or some bumbling idiot that's done nothing in this league.
Exactly.
When, I'm going to
his
say
numbers
it again.
are very similar to Sean Payton.
There you go.
It's incredible. And Harbaugh.
John
Harbaugh. They all won
Tomlin
one
for that
Super
matter.
Bowl, and they all have very similar winning percentages, and the stats just. And McCarthy gets no credit. Like, he should have won in Dallas. Like, oh really? Who else has won there under Jerry? Like
Nobody.
Else?
In the last 30 years. I also think let's call a spade. Part of it is his appearance.
That's fair.
Right. Part of it is the appearance, because people are like, oh, well, in the day and age of 1,000%. But the only reason we like Andy Reid is because he leans into it, and they're giving him cheeseburgers after the game. And he's the lovable fat guy that you can laugh at. And you're right, he's got Super Bowls.
You can't deny
So I'm not
him.
going to be mad when he eats a B13 burger at the sportsbook at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Go get it.
Great,
It's amazing.
that's a great burger, by the way.
So good.
That is an incredible burger. Sorry, I had to say it.
But when you are in an offense that has great players, people look more to the great players, and for some reason, he only gets the hindrance to Aaron Rodgers getting back to a second Super Bowl instead of any admiration and glow for getting him to the Super Bowl he ended up winning. Right. And like similar, I don't think it's very different from Matt LaFleur, where he doesn't really seem to get any credit for what happened when Aaron Rodgers was here. Let's also remember there's a reason why there was a statement from the president of the organization to Aaron Rodgers that said, hey, by the way, now you don't be the problem. Right? Like there's a reason to know that when they hadn't gone to the playoffs in 2 years, that you needed to rejuvenate him. And all of a sudden he ends up winning 2 MVPs. He gets none of that respect. So I would buy it. I think, LaFleur might be in that same vein, but it's the price of having great players, man.
I was just
the price
of
having great players.
The follow-up to Armin's buy or sell that Matt LaFleur is underrated.
I'd probably
the
buy
thing
it.
is,
locally.
LaFleur locally is underrated, and then nationally, he's properly rated,
and that goes
more
back.
respected.
That goes back to one of the biggest epidemics. It's always been this with humans, but I guess more so in sports than ever, that the grass always is greener on the other side. That whatever's on the other side of the fence looks much better.
True.
How excited would a lot of fan bases be to get a guy like Kyle Shanahan? But then I'm sure there are 49ers fans up and down that call him overrated because he's never actually won a Super Bowl and things like that. I mean, it's just one of many examples you could probably come up with.
Okay.
Right?
Are you buying or selling that the Packers are closer to being a Super Bowl team than most people in Wisconsin would believe?
Buying.
I'd buy that
right there, but they
lost the last 5 and they didn't beat the Bears. They lost
themselves so many times. That's what it is for me.
And so that's what I'm saying. Is like, but again, like the pessimism runs it flows freely in these parts.
That's why I would almost sell it, because I think there's a part of me that thinks, and maybe this is just from the pessimism that we're reading, is that people really believe this is a Super Bowl roster.
Oh, I see what you mean.
If there wasn't the kind of venom and frustration and anger at the coach and the coaching staff and how well they did, like, you don't, in my estimation, get that angry and believe that there needs to be that kind of change if you think they're a team that is like the 6 or 7 seed, right? So I think there are people that thought and looked and watched and said, this team needs to go to a Super Bowl. Other than that, of it just being the fact that it's been 15 years since they've gone, and that's the only thing that raises the urgency. It feels like people believed they were closer. And let's be honest, they were the odds-on favorite to win it going into week 15 and then halfway through their game in week 15. It would have been, all right, buy or sell. The Live will be closed up shop in 2 years.
Oh, buy. I'll say buy, and you have a lot of money to do it because they seem to be flush with cash.
Now,
that thing has been that's been the worst disaster in sports history, except for those guys got paid. And I keep hearing that back from people like, oh yeah, but all those guys make good for their bank accounts. But that's still not. It was not a success in any way, shape, or form. There, I had to say it. Sorry, Billy. There you go. There's my rant.
I'm glad you said it. I'm selling it. I still believe that they will be around. I don't know that it will be the fruitful endeavor, just because Brooks Koepka decided that he didn't want to do it anymore. Bryson DeChambeau, I believe, did re-up, and John Rahm has backed that he is going to continue to stay. Rory McIlroy was dunking the football last night was spiking that bad boy at the TGL and enjoying well, it seems like maybe they're not getting what they wanted over there. Or maybe Brooks Koepka's just never happy.
I think that's both can be true. I think they're not a success, but I don't think that they don't care. I don't think Brooks cares. And actually, you have a good point, Billy. They might still be around because they don't have to turn a profit or they don't have to do anything successful. Like those guys have enough money to do whatever they want. So it can be a loss.
I mean, yeah, but you're also acting like all sports leagues that started 2 years in were humming exceptionally well.
Well, no, but I don't think there's much interest there in this one specifically. You're right, though.
People were saying the same thing about the NBA when they were tape delaying the NBA finals.
Okay.
Hey, Armin.
I don't see much interest in this one.
Armin, I just went to Freezing Cold Takes, and I found Armin Sarian from a couple of years ago saying that these satellite little pop-up XFL leagues are going to, because people love football. People are going to watch
football. I said that those will all be successful.
Those will all be successful. Every league that came down the pipe, Armin's like, people love football. It's going to work.
Fine. Okay. If your argument is no one likes the National Lacrosse League either, that's fine. But nobody cares about this golf league. I'm sorry.
Don't talk to the people in the Potawatomi Sportsbook about the lacrosse league. People are wagering. People are having fun.
I'd much 100%, 1,000,000% rather watch one of those lacrosse
games. But you don't
games.
like golf.
Well, that's a part.
So you're also a terrible taste.
I don't like watching golf.
You're a bad test case.
That's a fair point. So maybe I'm not.
Because you're not watching the PGA Tour.
No, I'll watch the Masters and the U.S. Open and those type of things. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Billy. You have a great point there. Maybe I'm not the best test case, but I'm still going to talk about it.
No, absolutely. Again, you don't have to get defensive. I'm just saying.
I'm not defensive.
Like there are spots here where they're still going to make some money.
And that's why I am interested to hear when golf fans talk about it, because they're more the test case in this. Mike says morning boys by yourself can Billy beat Armin in a 40-yard dash at the combine. I think he can. Yes. I'm not a fast guy at all. Yeah. Billy might be bigger than me, but I think he's probably more of a
I haven't ran a 40-yard dash in probably a decade, and I will put a lot on that. Because if I can't beat Armin in a 40-yard dash, I don't know that it makes sense to even have cleats in the house.
I have to hang them up.
I don't think I need to have cleats anymore. In the house.
I can do some things, but sprinting is not it.
Go.
And again, I'm not going to say that I'm very fleet of foot, but I still believe, Drew, as long as the hammies hold up, that's going to be a problem.
That's a problem.
Because you do know your boy is going to be,
you'll be hurt
max effort, balls to the walls from the start.
You might be hurt after.
When that rifle pops off, I am going to be booking
my advice to any weekend warriors or anybody who thinks they're athletic and stuff, if let's say your 30s, in your 30s, is, you can, running, cycling, whatever you do, cardio is probably overrated. You need strength training, but the number one thing you got to do is mobility and flexibility.
Stretch.
Like absolutely stretch, yoga, do whatever you have to do, because prevent those pulls.
When we were playing flag football, you could almost see Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. They could have had just that. They could have had that ortho ASAP spot in the parking lot.
Absolutely.
Because you knew that there was going to be a couple of
pop-up tent.
Oh God,
blown out knees, elbows, fingers dislocated. Yeah,
my buddy's
of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
My buddy's fiance, who works at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, said she's like, "Yeah, I'm going to stop going now."
Yeah.
Too much pressure. I'm doing 3 different gigs here.
Too much stress. When we come back, we've reached halftime of today's huddle, and our buddy Scott Dolphin is our halftime reporter. We're going to throw it to him and chop it up. It's the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 in Madison, worldwide on the iHeartRadio app, streaming live on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Drew, Billy, and Armin, joined by our halftime correspondent, Scott Dolphin, is with us. Hello, Dolph.
Hi, Drew. Billy.
Quick change.
Armin's going deep tracks over there with Mark Will's country. Wow.
Wow. You can't stump Dolph when it
No.
comes to country. You've been spinning you've been hot wax from the back of the stacks
Are
for
you kidding
30,
me?
40 years. You know every country song there
Dolph's
is.
been pumping wattage in your cottage for decades, man.
I played all this stuff new.
Oh, my goodness. Me. So where is in the country landscape, there's the new guys, there's the new guard, and then there's the old school, I guess, what does that be like? George Strait, like, or even like the older.
That's when you
Hank
hit
Williams
status.
Like, it does say, like, my favorite
Travis
thing
Tritt.
about country music is from Steve Earle. It ain't country music unless you're singing about killing people.
Oh my gosh! No, the themes have changed.
Come on.
It's
but it's like the great songs.
I mean, consider the source there. Steve Earle had some dark times in his
He
past.
certainly did, and he was always on the fringe of country. Those are the guys that I like the most. Is those guys, that are
Right.
kinda like,
Although when I first started in radio,
Check out some of these songs.
Yeah, back in the 1980s, Steve Earle was pretty mainstream country. I mean, he had
The
a
two
song called
records.
Guitar Town and
Yep.
Goodbye's All We Have Left, something like that. And then after Copperhead Road, he started venturing off in a different
yeah, he's
direction.
like more of a folky now.
Holy
Copperhead
cow.
Road,
Steve
of
Earle's a
course,
trip.
sure.
Yeah.
I had that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him in
If I could grow a
college.
beard, this could be my retirement look.
But there is like the old country. And
Yeah,
then there's
that's
like
true.
The new.
Well, that's when they call it country western.
Where does Garth Brooks? Where does Garth Brooks? Is he now old?
It is.
He's,
I mean,
he's
you're
like
talking
classic country now.
35, almost 40 years ago when Garth Brooks broke onto the scene. Armin, with the country western reference, it reminds me of the Blues Brothers when they were looking for a gig and they went into Bob's Country Bunker and said, "What kind of music do you play here, Bob?" He goes, "Oh, we play both kinds, country and western."
There was a show at
but that's what I mean by old country. The Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, and
Right.
guys like that.
Yeah,
And
I mean, you're talking
Texas swing, old, and then it's like follow the lineage.
That's
I always
like
like
the
Johnny
dawn.
Cash.
Yeah, that's to the dawn of country music with Bob Wills and,
Bob Wills
and Ernest
and-
Tubb.
But
and
there's no more
Jimmy
tradition
Rogers.
in country than country music fans arguing about if certain artists and songs are country.
Oh my God, you're
that's
right.
what everyone
It's-
does. You just do that now. I mean, now we have that with well, who am I?
Oh, like the
Who am I
Kane
guys?
Browns,
Kane Brown, the
the-
family heads. Kane Brown.
Our
Post
version of
Malone.
that is Freddie Peralta and Ace.
Is he? It
Oh, yeah,
is. It's the
that's
same
right.
thing.
Yeah.
It's the exact same
Oh,
thing.
you're so right. I mean, Armin, every generation has that guy. Can you imagine the reaction? It wasn't around. Could you imagine the reaction to Johnny Cash back in the day when he's doing Cocaine Blues? Took a shot of cocaine, then I shot that woman down. How did that go over with old school
But I'm
country?
talking about country music, about killing people.
There you go.
My God.
Great song.
Okay, well then Post Malone's
Shot
beer
a man in Reno just to watch
just
him
to watch
die.
him die.
That's right.
Now beer bongs and Bentleys doesn't sound as out of place for Post Malone's old album cover.
That's true.
It makes a lot more sense then. You can move around a little bit.
This discussion is just a warm up because in the next hour we're giving away tickets to see Luke Bryan at Alpine Valley.
Yeah, and not all of them are just drink a beer out on the dock and
the
watch
lake.
the water roll on through.
No, some are about drinking on a country road, and some like
or going to an old town road.
Old Town Road's another one, yeah.
Another one.
Or
Another
Broadway, leave them Broadway
Hey.
girls alone. There's a lot of different thematic aspects of it.
It's a big evening in the Dolphin family, is it not? The Big Ten schedule gets released this evening.
Oh yeah. That's always a special
Hawkeyes,
day.
when is it?
There's rumors that it's going to be Halloween night.
Oh,
there you go.
Seriously?
Rumors of that game being right around Halloween.
Iowa City this year.
You better
Right?
believe it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
we already have our friend on the talking text line who's been urging me to become more Iowa friendly. And I really appreciate it. I do. I would love to be a better human being. I think it would definitely help out a lot of things. And our friend Brandon is very, very nice about it.
I don't think you want to be more Iowa friendly, Billy. I'm just gonna put that out.
Armin's Iowa friendly.
No,
I don't
what
know,
you know
because
about
I'm
Iowa.
looking at some of these other cheek states that we have in the Midwest,
Come
and
on now.
Iowa might deserve a little bit more love than I've given it.
Yeah,
because
more
as
than
Dolph
Oklahoma.
said, I did go to Grinnell, Iowa the one time and made a very sweeping assessment of the worst state in the union off of maybe its worst state.
You know what's funny is I'm born and raised in the state of Iowa, and I have never been to Grinnell, Iowa. And Billy has actually
You're
been
lucky.
there. I know it's somewhere down there from where I grew up, kind of that way and that way, but I don't really.
I was in a tumble.
It was down the corridor, over a hill, and on the way to grandmother's house is the way it felt like. I felt like we were halfway to the
I
equator.
have hardly any experience with Iowa. I've been there a couple times, but like the Iowa Cubs, University of Iowa.
Yeah.
Cal Eldred was a guy that I covered
Yeah.
in my career. Was a big Iowa Hawkeye.
He was a Hawkeye. That's
Big time
right.
legend. He did TV
We
and
went
stuff.
yeah,
But
man.
the joke always
Iowa.
was, and I would tell Cal this: "Hey, you're the second best thing to come out of Iowa. What's the best thing? I-80.
The guy that just left the highway. It takes you out of the state.
Now, I'm a little biased because I grew up there, but I encourage you to take a little road trip to
Quad Cities?
extreme Eastern Iowa or extreme, Quad City, where I started my radio career, or extreme Western Iowa on the Missouri River over near Council Bluffs, Omaha, or Sioux City.
So
That
you
way.
got to get to the edges.
Yeah, it's hilly. It's hilly.
The border.
Right.
Well, that's where Brandon said, he goes, they got to send you guys down. Billy, we need to start building you a love for Iowa. Now,
Why?
Because I do believe we need to be a little more neighborly in
All right,
2026.
fine.
And again, is it better to like people from Iowa than people from Minnesota? I'm not trying to get myself into any issues here.
Here we go.
I'm just saying Iowa, I haven't even said the idiots out wandering around tag that people
Right.
try to throw out there. I think
been
they're very
around for a
nice
while.
people over there.
That's the Iowa. That you're talking about the Iowa acronym.
Yes.
Be clear about
So
that.
I'm gonna hang out with I might be hanging out with Iowa. And thank you for that, Armin.
Yeah, no problem. I
Thank
got
you for that, by the way.
I got you.
Did not realize what. Thank you, by the
We're
way.
not trying to start.
Not
any
what we're
fights.
saying.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
talking about the Iowa acronym.
Yes.
Sorry, Drew.
You're down with Caitlin Clark, Cooper DeJean.
There you go.
Some of the athletes that came from Iowa.
Well, he's an offensive line guy, so he's more down with Tristan Wirfs and
And Audie Crooks.
Yeah.
You want to talk about my girl
Wait a
Audie
minute
Crooks?
now. Don't. I just said offensive line.
Why did
don't
you go
rope
what do you
in
mean?
Audie
There
Crooks?
and not Brian Blaga, Iowa.
Well,
Audie
listen,
Crooks,
no,
one of the best athletes in Iowa.
I'm
She's
telling you,
fantastic.
she might be one of the best athletes in the world.
Yeah, no doubt. She's a
That
she's
hook
awesome.
shot
Yeah,
is next level.
technician. In the
And you're
post.
right, probably more of a 3 technique, but like definitely a offensive guard. She could pull if necessary, but I'm in for the Tyler Lindebaums and
Okay.
company. Yeah.
But back to where we started, the Big Ten schedule released tonight. Didn't it used to be like you had the opponents and the dates basically for like 5 years out in college football? Now because of what's happened, like you can't, and
Well,
it's
you
all
still
TV. We're all, and Billy, you were saying like you'll find the date, not the time, until like 3 or 4 days before you'll find out what time kickoff is.
Yeah, well, even a few years ago, it was like the week and the Monday before you found out for your travel plans if you were following your favorite team on the road. And now you're right. Now it's week of, oftentimes, Drew, because of TV and because the Big Ten is in bed with everybody. How many networks? Everybody but
everyone.
ABC.
Everybody but ESPN and ABC. Yes.
So it's everybody else has a deal with the
Fox,
Big Ten.
Peacock,
And they all have, and I guess maybe Matt would want to talk about it. Maybe he wouldn't. Maybe Gary would be able to give me some more heads up on it. But like, all of them have different veto powers, right? So like, I think Fox we get 4 of your games that we decide in our big noon window. So that's why it takes so long to be able to get the dates out. But Drew, the funny thing is, you mentioned it, like, I thought we used to know the opponents for years. Oh yeah, you do. Oh, you still know their Big Ten opponents, I'm pretty sure, for the next like 5 to 6 years. You'll know all their non-conference games. Well, you think you do, because now they're going to start finagling them around to see if it's going to help you out into the playoff. But the sport no other sport asks more of their in-person viewing public than college football. Although, when in person, maybe no sport is better in person than college football.
I agree with that. I mean, the whole atmosphere of what takes place on a college football Saturday, or now on Thursday, Wednesday,
Friday, whenever they line them
Well,
up, baby.
Yeah. I mean, just the pageantry of it all is unsurpassed. I think. I don't think there's anything better. And I love going to NFL games, but it's just the experience. Clearly, what the product on the field is still better, obviously, but everything else surrounding the day is better in college football.
Well, and think about it this way: it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Even what about a kickoff on a college football Sunday? How the Badgers will kick off this year up at Lambeau Field on Sunday of Labor Day weekend against Notre Dame at Lambeau.
That's right.
That's the one game we know. So we do know that one. We know a couple of them. We'll find out the rest of them
We
later
know
on
that
tonight.
Western Illinois and Eastern Michigan.
And there was going to be Pitt on the schedule, but that was one of those that kind of gets moved around because competitive balance. Listen, we got to make sure that we have ourselves lined up if we're one of those at large bids late into the year.
Yeah, Badgers.
Thank
maybe.
you for not laughing.
Maybe.
Badgers-
I'm not going to laugh. You never know. Look at Indiana.
Yeah, come on.
At home this year, Badgers, Michigan State, Rutgers, Minnesota, USC. The road, Iowa, Maryland, Penn State, Purdue, and UCLA.
Well, it's better than last year. A lot better than last year.
It's like they have to improve just by the schedule being easier.
You would think so.
Purdue on the road?
Yeah, you got to go to Worst Lafayette.
Tough.
You do have to go
Tough.
to Worst Lafayette. You got to go take on the Bruins and those 13,000 folks that'll be watching at the Rose Bowl.
If you're going to Worst Lafayette, if you're going to Purdue, bring a book, bring something to do. Let me
I
tell
agree,
you,
Armin.
it's going to be tough.
Been there
night.
for football and basketball.
Ross
Yeah,
Hayes Stadium. My wife
yeah.
will not be happy with my commentary here.
There's nothing wrong with going to sporting events at Purdue, but you're looking for nightlife in West Lafayette, Indiana.
Oh, no,
I hope you like
they-
the Fern Bar at the Hampton
Oh no,
Inn.
they have a great bar.
Yeah, they do.
The bar was going crazy
The
when they made
bar?
the Final Four. The bar there. It's called like the neon cactus or something that
Ooh.
totally doesn't fit with Indiana.
Well, I believe it's tonight, the battle for the state of Indiana.
It is. Indiana Purdue's a big game is
Coming up tonight. And
And we also have Michigan, Nebraska, right?
Michigan, Nebraska.
Nebraska
good
was still
coming up.
undefeated, by the way. They might never lose again.
Indiana might actually win this game tonight. They're honoring the football team.
There you go.
Now, you want to talk about bringing in a secret weapon? Let's bring in Kurt
All right.
Signetti and see if
Because
they
we've
can
been
close this
doing
thing
buy
out.
or sell today, and you can hit us up with your buy or sell propositions 877-794-1973. Throw this to the panel: buying or selling that the golden age of watching sports in a sports bar is now on life support. Like that people still do it, but when you think of watching a big game, is your first thought, I'm going to go with my buddies to the bar and get wings and stuff. I think that seems like a quaint thing that we used to do yesteryear. It's starting to get like a little gauzy black and white filter of let's go to the bar and let's watch the game together. Do people still do that as much?
Yeah, I'm buying the fact that you're right. I think it's peaked.
Yeah.
I think a lot of more people of our generation, Drew, you and me, did that. That was what you did, man.
Pre-internet and pre-phones.
Yeah, you spend all day, but yeah, I mean now with social media, with streaming, I think Gen Zers are like, nah.
The one
hard
day
pass.
or the one event that still draws people out is the tournament, the first weekend of the tournament.
That will never change.
Yep. Because it's a full day event.
You'll see full bars full then, but like for NFL playoff games and stuff, most people are watching at home. I got a 70-incher. I got my own bathroom, my own beers.
And you also do have to know that you're going to save that cash. But I also wonder if sports wagering, some people thought it would take people away from the bars. The people that will go to the bars, if you can get it mobily, I think it'll continue to enhance. But it's like it's the tent pole events, Super Bowl, March Madness. And that might be about it, right? Like the
Bowl, I don't
amount of
know.
those have probably
I don't
gone
even
down.
know if Super Bowl.
I don't even know if they have to bring on extra staff for Super Bowl anymore because people would have parties at their house. Like house parties dominate Super Bowl Sunday.
No, I wasn't out for that Packers Bears game that was on streaming. It was on Amazon, but maybe that helped having it. Other than Milwaukee and Madison, maybe that helped getting people into the bars because if
Couldn't
for
see it.
whatever
around-
reason, they
yeah,
don't
that's
have
true.
Amazon.
It's you're not in the local market. You had to kind of, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I guess I'm just newer to it. Super Bowl to me is still definitely one of those that you're finding somewhere to go, like the Potawatomi Sportsbook, where you can get your reservations now, potawatomi.com/sportsbook
That's
for
the
their
spot.
spots at the big game. And they have multiple different events for Big Game Sunday. If you want to be in the book, you want to be in the Annex, Rock and Brews, they got a bunch of different opportunities.
Our buddy, Russ Douglas was there watching the UFC event.
Crushes of pancakes.
That's when it's those fights. When the fights are on, it is so packed there. The discussion about going out to places, you know what? There's a longer discussion to be had, but we are losing those third spaces a little bit in our society now. Third spaces, you have home, you have work. And then
Third Space Brewing's still open.
Well, specifically, and I love that term that they use. Third space is like the neighborhood bar or like the church or whatever it is. We're losing those little because no one wants to go out anymore and
still
hang
have
out with each
mine.
other, talk to each other, connect with each other.
I still have mine, the Palapa at St. Paul's Fish
There you
Market.
go. I love it. Everyone's got a spot.
Locally, the Tiki Bar. That's where
You
you'll
probably
find
have
me.
a few establishments you like to
A couple,
frequent
but
downtown.
that's my go-to. That is
See?
more often than not.
So make Potawatomi Sportsbook your third space.
That's where it should be. Dolph, do you know anything about the Register's annual Great Bicycle Ride across Iowa?
Oh, it's legendary. Ragbri.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Rob said, Billy, you want to show that athleticism, do the Ragbri. I've done 4 and a lot of great things to see. Rob, this boy is not, I'm not claiming high athleticism at all. I'm definitely not biking across the state of Iowa. I'll try driving it, maybe.
You'd love the party aspect. So they dip this is the way it was when I was growing up here. They dip their back tire of their bike in the Missouri River And then when they finish, the front tire into the Mississippi River. And all across the state, these little towns show up and throw massive parties.
That's cool.
And they sleep in the town parks and stuff. All these bikers, thousands of them, take part in Ragbri every year. It's a pretty cool
Okay, that
event.
sounds like a little bit better idea than it was. That sounds a lot
All
better
right.
than I was thinking.
Hey,
Billy, you might have to go to start at baby steps. The River West 24, the 24-hour ride that
There
they
you
do
go.
around River West.
Start
that's
there.
That's a big deal.
I was going to say, I'm going to have to train for this.
maybe do that Santa Claus ride
Gateway
in
truck.
December.
Oh,
that
the Santa Rampage.
Santa Rampage. Try
Yes. Go all the different bars dressed as Santa on bikes in the snow. That's epic, too.
that. That's a good one.
We should get into cycling, man. We should get into this, Billy. We should make this a hobby.
Listen, I mean, we could be leading a Peloton crew once we're done with the
Oh.
show at 8 a.m.
Let's
Make
go.
sure you gear up.
I
because-
might. I have space
Go
for a
on
bike
chafing.
now. I might buy one. I haven't
Yeah.
owned a bike in like 20 years, 15 years.
Was it 10-speed BMX?
Yes.
My Huffy, man.
Yeah, let's
Absolutely.
go.
Oh, that's a good
Let's
one.
get
Rubber
us
sail
a bike
bike.
sponsor. Anybody want to get us into cycling?
We're
need
out
a-
there,
we need
Trek.
I guess I do need one because the little guy just got one for his birthday yesterday.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
You gotta
get
teach
out
him to
there.
ride. What are you
Yep,
gonna do?
Teach him.
Yeah.
There you go. Dolph, thanks for chopping it up with
Hi,
us.
Phil.
Appreciate it as always. And we will have Luke Bryan tickets for you to win after 7 o'clock. Billy's going to come up with another rockin' banging trivia question for you.
You're going to be stunned by this show prep. I already have it.
Oh,
Come on.
Wow.
All right. He does more before 6 a.m. than most people do all day. He's Billy Schmidt. We'll be right back. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm chilling on a dirt road, laid back, swerving like I'm
listen to the Huddle. We were talking earlier about Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It came up organically, as it does, because they provide the best care anywhere right here at home. OrthoWisconsin.com is the website. Check them out. Dr. Matthew Bong, friend of Billy's, friend of mine, my surgeon, replaced my hip. Greatest move, one of the greatest decisions of my adult life. If you're suffering from any kind of injury or orthopedic malady, sore neck, back, wrist, elbow, knee, whatever it might be, ankle issues. If you got a sports injury, go see our friends. They're the best. OrthoWisconsin.com, Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
I hate to say it. It's the type of people we're going to need as we get old.
No doubt. For sure.
As I see this side of 40, it's like, oh man.
Yes,
at some
indeed.
point, yeah.
Especially if you're still trying to be active and stuff, which I encourage. But then again, it comes with the downside of the injury.
Especially if you're running 40-yard dashes
Prep
with me and
yourself.
Billy.
Yeah, if you and Billy are running
bike ride.
I got a
doing
bad
bike
feeling
rides.
this 40-yard dash thing's going to happen.
Well, it could
Right?
happen.
Like, I think that's the bad one.
You might have
That's
time
when we'll
with a
do our
sundial.
combine.
Yeah, exactly.
We've
right.
only been talking about that for 8 years.
The Huddle combine would be good.
I'm committed to not blowing out my hammy, though.
We got some more
Mike.
buying or selling. I asked Dolph if the buying or selling of the sports bar culture is it going away? It seems like it's on life support. There are we've done a lot of things at Buffalo Wild Wings, friends of the program, Potawatomi Sportsbook. That's a bar, but that comes with an asterisk because of
it's different.
Yeah,
Yep, it is different.
They have an
Yes.
element that's not available at Spanky Sports Lounge.
100%. Well, also Spanky's might have something you're not allowed to have.
That's true, too.
But the hotel portion. But like there's a spot where like I think it's the best sports bar in the city, but it is a different element to it. Mike in MKE said, "Listen, bar culture for football very much still alive. My friends and I go to a new bar every football Sunday and try and rank their wings."
I love that.
Now, Mike, I hate to tell you, you're going to have to give us the rankings.
I need the full
Well,
rank.
I'm going to need your rankings of it because that sounds a lot like what I did with the franchise at spring training, Drew, where we took it upon ourselves to run through the Cactus League Nacho rankings. But again, you're going in with a mission. These boys are not only just doing it for the camaraderie and the friendship, they're doing it because they have a task. Where actually has the best wings in the city of Milwaukee? Because there's only, 87 different places that are going to tell you they have.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And everyone says these are the best.
Should have said 67. Should have understood
6-7.
Be better in hour 3. I'll be better. I'll be better in hour 3. I'm sorry, guys.
I got the
6-7.
ultimate buy or sell for Billy. We're gonna make heads explode. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna give away Luke Bryan tickets to see Luke Bryan. That show, the Word on the Street tour, is September 26th, Alpine Valley Music Theater. We gave away 2 yesterday, 2 today, 2 the rest of the week. It's going to be a blast of a show, and you'll have tickets in your hand, something to look forward to all summer. Luke Bryan, Alpine Valley, September 26th. Special guests, Drew Baldridge, Lauren Watkins, and Ray Lynn. When we come back, a little bit more buying and selling. We'll give away those tickets, and before you know it, we're sliding down the back of the dinosaur. It's The Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I'm Doug Russell. The newest members of the Brewers are getting to know their new surroundings less than a month before spring training begins. New infielder Jet Williams thinks he'll fit right in.
Just looking from top to bottom of the lineup and kind of the way they play, a bunch of short guys that are a little bit scrappy, so similar to me. But no, I think just the way they play the game is kind of similar to how I play. Just kind of go out there each and every day and play really, really hard. The ultimate goal is to win, and they are pretty good at doing that.
97 times this past regular season, as a matter of fact. Williams and pitcher Brandon Sproat came over last week from the Mets in the Freddie Peralta trade. The brother of Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, Mike LaFleur, has had his second interview for the Cardinals head coaching job in Arizona, as has former Packers linebackers coach Anthony Campanelli. The final hour of the Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake
With the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with the number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field, then there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, Biller for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 jet. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red right 18 Bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We're going to tackle what we got to do. All right? That's all we're going to board down to. Let's go out and kick some tape. All right? Hey, yo. 1, 2, 3. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to sit our guys after and make the play.
Be right, all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, B hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid,
Oh my God, this man's been out all night.
and Armin Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Huddle up, Wisconsin. Bringing it to you. Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 in Madison, worldwide on the iHeartRadio app and streaming on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Drew, Billy, Armin, we're doing a little buying and selling today. We're going to have a chance. You don't have to buy or sell anything, but we have a chance for you to win Luke Bryan tickets coming up in about a half hour from right now, which will be amazing. And we're just basically doing what we do. We're chopping it up for folks that are getting ready to start their day in the good land.
Which I like because the get ready with me videos are apparently a popular trend.
Huge
been for a while.
On these reels and the
Big
internet.
thing. Now, we might not go through a full skincare routine with you, but you can do that and get ready with us. We just might not lead the charge for you.
And who's taping it? That's what I gotta know.
That's a good question.
Are you setting up the camera every time you walk into a room? I mean, how much time that must take? And I'm sorry, there's no way that's the quickest way to get ready for the
on
day.
Sunburn Bowl trip. You know how to set up cameras.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, but I wasn't taping myself. Well, here's the thing about that, though. I wasn't doing apparently a good enough job of it because some of these reels, it's like, hey, come get ready with me as I get ready for my day, and they got millions of views, and they have partnerships. So who am I to say what's going on? But these reels get me so angry every time. I'm sitting there laying in bed watching these things, and I'm yelling out loud to nobody who's going to be listening. Who's taping this thing, and why has she got the camera? Like Lars, like Armin, don't have to watch it if it's going to make you so mad. So.
I'm just glad. I thought your mad part would be who's paying the advertising for these, and why are they not advertising on the Huddle?
On the Huddle, and apparently they do because they're all like, "Hey, this is my favorite way to
This
blow
week's
dry my
video
hair."
is brought to you by.
Oh my gosh, and they're getting them. So apparently, I have no idea who these
Scan this code and
influencers are.
get a $5 off your next $400 order.
If you want to partner with the Huddle, absolutely do it here. So
Reach out. One way to do it, reach out. The NicoletLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. Buying or selling. And I'm not jumping the route because I had this holstered up to bounce off of Billy and Armin, but Aaron and Carolina did share it with us on the talking text line. Buying or selling, the fact that after spending almost several years, you could almost argue a generation on life support, that the idea of the National Football League's Pro Bowl suffered a death blow yesterday when it was announced that Shedeur Sanders has been elevated as a replacement on the roster of the Pro Bowl.
And I don't mean to make this a Shedeur Sanders deal, because I actually think he has gotten a lot more smoke directed at him that doesn't necessarily involve him, right? He is the poster child almost for a generation and the first of the NIL athletes. And they're like, I don't like what's going on in college football. I definitely don't like him. But when you have a quarterback on that side, and Drew, you know how much I care about this individual who threw for 4,300 yards, was top 5 in MVP balloting, led his team that is in actually the largest city in Jacksonville, but the armpit of Jacksonville, Florida, to the playoffs and a division title. And Trevor Lawrence isn't on that damn team, but we're putting Shedeur Sanders, who started 6 games on there.
It is the Pro Bowl games, and it's a junk sport, but how can you have any credibility when you have a 5th-round draft pick who started 6 games, put up horrible numbers, and he's the Pro Bowler, and he can now it's the first Browns quarterback since Derek Anderson, like 2008.
Tremendous.
But nobody in Cleveland can feel any sense of pride or any kind of like anything. There's just there's no upside to this other than they think that young kids who like Shedeur will watch or something.
Well, maybe watch, and maybe they will. And I'll tell you this, you know who actually enjoys the Pro Bowl games? My wife.
Really?
Big fan of the Pro Bowl games.
Okay.
KB and I went, and we had some listeners. We went, and
just because the novelty
in
of
Vegas, we went to the first one.
Because she said, like, you can see the faces of the players, right? Like, you can actually identify the human beings. They're talking on the side. She also likes Dan Orlovsky. He's featured rather heavily on the Pro Bowl games. He'll be doing a lot of the ins and outs.
Well, it reminds me of when I was growing up watching the skills competition of like the long pass and all these things, where Steve DeBerg almost beat Marino, but Marino had him on the last. So those things were fun to watch when you were a kid, but we didn't think of them. I guess for some people, the distaste is that they put the Pro Bowl moniker on that. And we used to think of the Pro Bowl as an actual football game and not a skills competition, right? And some of that, I get it, but
I never really thought of it as a football.
It was
celebration.
It was an exhibition.
But they were playing the game. I mean, it used to be a legitimate game.
Well,
where it wasn't like hardest hitting game ever. But
I think when the NFC center went and snapped to the AFC quarterback, I think that was when it all went away.
Yeah,
the Jeff Saturday moment.
Yeah, that might have been beginning of the end.
And let's be honest,
they decided to not tackle.
The one clip that you'll see all week long be like, this is when the Pro Bowl was the Pro Bowl.
Was that one?
The Sean Taylor hit,
Taylor.
And it's probably what people will look at again and be like, this is exactly why we can't do the Pro Bowl.
That's when it became that, and then. Well, yeah, there's Pete Rose barreling over Ray Fosse in the Major League All-Star game at home plate, right? And
that's the worst thing to ever happen to All-Star games is that one play with Pete Rose won, because everyone's like, see, it could have been great.
I think Pro Bowl games, and it's like, Shedeur, not Lamar, not Aaron Rodgers, not Joe Burrow.
No, even C.J. Stroud
Lawrence.
after the cheeks he was during the playoffs.
Yeah,
Mike
C.J.
says,
Stroud had a better
Love?
regular season, but Shedeur Sanders has no business being mentioned, and it shouldn't be on his resume, and it's no fault of his, really, but
no,
I suppose you could decline it, but like,
no, why would you do that?
But you're not in that. You don't belong in that discussion. You didn't earn the right there. It's just crap. And if you were the NFL and you're like, how can we kill this so we don't have to have it anymore? That's a good step. Is putting Shedeur Sanders above more valuable guys, more worthy guys, and you're just turning it into. It was already a joke, and now it's even a bigger joke.
But I will, and now this is where I don't want to be talking out of both sides of my mouth. I specialize in that art.
I think I know what you're going to say here.
I don't know that I can be super angry and angst filled with this one and not see the Philadelphia Phillies side of the equation when Jacob Mizorowski is on the All-Star team after 6 games.
And I knew that was going to come
right?
up.
Like,
Eddie
so,
had it here, yeah.
But again, it wasn't Miz's fault when it happened in the MLB. Again, I don't believe it's Shedeur's fault. However, you're not going to turn it down. But when at some point contracts and people's livelihoods and extensions are going to be partially decided because of these numbers and who ends up being on the roster, and incentives get paid and bonuses get paid out on Pro Bowlers, whether or not you even put in the asterisk into the conversation when you be like, well, it's been since 2019 since Brian Gutekunst drafted a Pro Bowler. Sure, you can say, well, what is the Pro Bowl anymore?
Yeah.
But it still is a line of demarcation for a lot of people when you think of how many good players are you bringing in, how good are players and how much money are they going to be making in terms of their incentives? And again, Hall of Fame candidacy, you're a voter. So the MLB All-Star game has always been different than the Pro Bowl. But I still would imagine when they start running through the 50 people that are going to be voting on the Pro or on the Hall of Fame, they're like, well, he was a 6-time Pro Bowler. Well, it might not be a big part of it, but it's an inclusion in the resume.
Absolutely.
It's a discussion point.
And for a lot of casual fans, it's an automatic level of legitimacy when you get that. Now, the one thing the Miz discussion is interesting, like the Miz comparison, because he didn't play long. The difference, I would say, is Miz pitched awesome the times he pitched. Until that
historically
point.
Good.
Like he was so good that's part of the reason he was in the game.
Yeah.
Shador has not been good at all.
Not historically.
I'm sorry he hasn't. Now, if you want to put him in there, because kids make him a special guest or something, like, is it the end of the world? No, I mean, for us to sit there and say all of a sudden we care about the Pro Bowl would be disingenuous. But Billy's right about the fact that there's a business side of it, there's an incentive side of it, and I totally get being frustrated. If you're a decent quarterback in this league and you're seeing that happen, I absolutely get it.
All right. Buying or selling today. Here's one directed at Armin. Billy, you can just go get a sandwich or something.
Come on, let me hear it.
But the latest controversy from the world of tennis, Coco Gauff walking to the tunnel, walking to the locker room, smashes her racket in frustration after a loss. And people are saying like, oh, this is a lack of decorum. Like, wait a minute. It was a private moment. She didn't do it on the court.
Good point.
She was in the tunnel. Like, we don't usually have cameras in the tunnels at major sport. I don't remember anybody walking in the locker room at Wimbledon having a camera there, but in Australia they had it and it was caught and she had to address that. And I just think that's one of those things that, like, big deal. Like, is that because if a man did that, we see guys strike out and attack the Gatorade cooler with their bats all the time, and it's like nothing. Is it because tennis is more genteel?
It's an etiquette sport still for a lot of people, but it wasn't Wimbledon. The Australian Open is not necessarily like
it's a major.
It's a major, but it's not like the bastion of etiquette necessarily that people always thought. But I'll say this. They would go after the males too when they would have conduct issues. Nick Kyrgios was common for that. He wore red Jordans at Wimbledon, and people were upset about that. Tennis does have some of those archaic things, but with etiquette sports comes that. We see that in golf too. They argue about it. Silly though, because like you said, she was in the tunnel, so who cares? She's allowed to show her frustration. That's just the way it is.
Okay,
Steffi, right. Who cares? That's a non-burger. I agree.
You buying or selling that tennis and golf would be enhanced if spectators were allowed to make noise and the athletes had to deal with noise.
Well, it's interesting.
The golf or driving or putting.
We tried this in golf with waste management. Some people say that, but then you get the old school golfers. I'm going to say old school. Some people that love the nature of golf that said, get these bums off the course. Oh. There's garbage everywhere. There's this and that. The nice thing about tennis is the points aren't necessarily as long, so you do get that type of energy at some big points and big matches. You see it at Arthur Ashe in the U.S. Open. You see it at Wimbledon. I think tennis is in better shape in that regard, but hey, that's just me. I obviously we talked about it before. I'm biased. I like watching tennis more than golf. So would they be better served it? Maybe a little bit. I think that's fine.
Guys that need the absolute, they need the absolute quiet, right? And if a camera shutter click, like they get pissed, like you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, but I always think golfers handle that worse than tennis players. But again,
I think
biased.
They do too.
Yeah,
but people, but the guys who, so the country club guys, I'm a 7 handicap at my club, and I won $1,000.
I'm definitely farting in your backswing.
But those guys that want to quiet,
intentionally,
those guys that want to quiet invariably have the JBL, the Bluetooth speaker rocking tunes while they're playing, and it's like, come on, you're a professional athlete. Does it really matter? Do you need absolute silence? Like, do they? Why can how come?
Free throw line,
we can shoot free throws like that, or we can kick. Guys can kick field goals. Like, why are those the two sports that you can't make it?
It's just the tradition of those sports. Yeah, but what should it?
Gentlemen,
but should it be changed? You have a point there. It's just how that to change culture in a sport is a long, bloody process.
I also think the coaching thing in tennis is dumb. Like, you're going to tell me that I have a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to coach all year. I'm going to get work. But I'm not the only sport that I'm not supposed to be able to be instructed during the competition.
It's amazing.
I'm not supposed to be helped from my coach that I employ and have here to assist me for a reason. There's a lot of reasons why I think tennis needs a little bit of a freshening up. But it goes back to the first hour discussion or the second hour discussion about Live. I think there's portions of the Live deal that were fun. Blasting music through, Drew, I appreciate. Now, if you just had Tiesto playing through the U.S. Open, on the tennis side, maybe I would watch for another 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think it would definitely add into the competitiveness and definitely the atmosphere, which I've heard is fun. I've heard people actually have fun at these tennis events. Unlike, I can't imagine having a whole lot of fun at golf unless
I think they do. I think they do. I think you see that with a lot of the major tennis events that there's a lot of time for the crowd to get their excitement in, to get their moments in. I think it's a great atmosphere. I don't think you should be also necessarily screaming through someone's, when they're tossing up the serve, but it doesn't take that long. Now we could tone down the screaming and the grunting a little bit, but if you get into some tennis matches, you're swinging pretty hard. I get some of the grunting, but we could tone that down from the players too. So it goes both ways, but it's part of the culture of the sport. I'm not going to say it's a great thing for everybody, but you have to ask yourself.
You don't like the grunting?
Are you? Some of it's Sabalenka's a little bit ridiculous. Okay, some of them are a little ridiculous, and they're doing it strategically. That's when I have a problem.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little silly. I mean, you don't have to do that, Ariana. Like, you don't have to do that.
Okay.
You don't have to do that.
When guy is lining up as a 3 technique and he's muttering under his breath, I'm gonna kill you, I'll go you.
Don't you side-eye those guys a bit? Like a little stupid.
Yeah, but then you also think this guy might be a little bit crazy. Like there might be a little bit competitive advantage with it. I appreciate the fact that she's trying to get into the mind of the opponent a little bit.
Yeah, you have to. There are mind games you play, but I think that's why some people are like, this is just like silly. Like this is like a little cheesy that she's trying to do this.
More buying and selling. 877-794-1973. Are you buying or selling the notion that though the criticism is warranted, the Tony Romo slander is tilting into excessive and piling on?
I'm gonna let Billy answer this first, unless you.
Let's go, Billy. Yeah, what do you say?
Because I've been waiting for a question like
McAfee?
this.
Is he gonna be on McAfee?
He's like leading off the McAfee show today, so I assume maybe he has some things that he wants to say. I don't know, Jim. I struggled to listen to an entire game of Tony. Like this weekend, I found myself multiple times being like, Tony, they're probably not thinking about punting. It's 3rd down, right? Like there are times where you laugh and you're like, this can't be this bad. However, he is you talk about the pendulum swinging.
Yeah.
He's the full circle of life where.
Oh, darling, when he came out,
and I'm like, this guy's amazing. You can tell just how much he loves it. Then he got to the point where you could tell, I don't know that he knows the 22 guys that are on the field. Right? Like, I don't know that he fully understands who is who and doesn't care at all because he's not prepping. He's playing golf. Then I came all the way back around where I'm like, he's just owning up to the fact of I'm showing up on Sunday watching the game and I'm going to tell you what's happening. Yeah. And I've gone through and like a full turbine. I roll around on the Romo experience. I'm probably a net neutral, but it is the fun thing to say that Tony Romo sucks and Greg Olson's the greatest.
In last year's AFC Championship game, they screwed up the defining play. Like they had a pretty bad call, right?
Uh-huh.
And so this year, there wasn't anything that really jumped out. It was just kind of felt like a game in November.
They were just doing the game.
They just did the game. But Andrew Marchand, who's the media critic for The Athletic, he wrote, Nance and Romo weren't particularly entertaining or insightful, but they weren't terrible. Being unremarkable is a victory at this point for that broadcast.
Okay, I get it. I mean, and it's great.
That's a win for CBS. Is that they weren't
it's easy content for people to fill up columns and stuff, and it's great for awful announcing. But there is an aspect to it where he's getting Ahmad Carroll a little bit. Like, he's getting picked on. Like, now everything he says, people are going to nitpick. It happened with Aikman for a while until people started to agree that it was getting ridiculous, and Aikman and Buck were actually good. And Tom Brady, everyone's talking about how much better he's gotten. And that's fine because you can't say a bad word about Tom Brady in NFL circles. You can't say a bad word because you'll be roundly ostracized and criticized.
They were on him early, but he has improved.
He's improved,
settling in.
So then it really comes down to what do we want from our analysts. If we want to be lectured all day about football, then Tom Brady's been doing a great job and he's giving a little humor. But the reason I like Romo is I think he's just like me. He's a guy from Burlington that's just enjoying watching the game, that doesn't have to give me the completely 100% great analysis all the time.
All right,
so there you go. I'm in the minority. I don't think Romo's that
So you
bad.
prefer somebody that doesn't give you good analysis?
I relate to Tony Romo. I relate to him. I don't relate to Tom Brady.
You
I'm
also-
not dating Alex
you
Earl.
were a big
I relate
fan.
to Tony Romo.
You were a big fan of Kenny Banya's comedy.
See, that's something I don't have to think about. That's funny.
So,
because Tony Romo was dating the common girl
Okay.
of Carrie Underwood and Jessica Simpson.
But he didn't marry them, right?
No, he
didn't.
didn't.
Okay, but you're right. Okay,
Oh
it's a
yeah,
little
he just
bit.
married. He just married a Victoria's Secret model.
But,
I apologize.
You know,
Yeah,
Tony Romo.
probably.
You know, I think he's getting picked on a bit. I think in a straight analyst vacuum,
That is my premise.
Brady's
though, is
better.
that
Yes. Okay.
The
Brady
criticism is warranted, but it's becoming gratuitous
He's
and piling on. It's
he's
becoming
piling on.
excessive.
He's getting a mod caroled a little bit.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing: like, there's now like this Twitter thing that was going on yesterday and the last couple of days, and after Sunday, where people are comparing like things that Tom Brady would say to what Romo would say. Tom Brady, JSN does a great job of maintaining his shoulder plane when running all of his routes. Tony Romo, it's easier to see orange than white in the snow.
And that's a great point.
The bad thing is,
He's more.
I actually think I may have heard both of those statements. I think I actually might have heard both of those statements.
Yep.
You know, Jim, as this weather's turning, Jim, it's going to be really hard to see, Jim, because they're in gray helmets, and that looks a lot more like snow than the blue one does.
Simplicity is key. It's like when Al McGuire was the broadcaster.
Here's another one. Average Tom Brady commentary. As a quarterback, you're looking to see if your receiver has that extra step on the corner and can cut back outside. You're dealing with fine margins, Kevin. Tony Romo. You ever think about eating a football, Jim? I have.
That's great. Like, God, come on.
I mean, the real one for Tony was when last year AFC title game, and you mentioned that was probably the lowest of the low. That was when it's a fourth down and Jim Nance comes back, sets it up perfectly, and asks Tony, "Hey Tony, what would you do here? Fourth and one,
Sure.
game on the line." He goes, "I don't know, Jim. You could run it, you could pass it. I don't know, Jim. What would you do, Jim?" He's like, "Well, all right, now I'm going to call the play because it's happening." So that there was our 12 seconds of verbal diarrhea. But again, it's what do you appreciate? What do you appreciate more? The lovable, I'm just here so I don't get fined and I'm making $20 million. Or the guy that is clearly caring, trying to get better at it, might be making double.
Well, that's a good point.
But is getting doubly better as he continues instead of the other guy who seems to be clearly regressing.
Well, you're definitely paying for it, right? I mean, Brady's getting all that money.
So you are not paying for it.
You, as a
Fox, is paying for it.
The network is paying for it, or you're getting the money's worth. If you're the network, is my point. The network is paying for it. When I'm saying you, I don't mean us. But yeah, I think, okay, here's my other theory on this. I think the way we feel about analysts and the way we feel about Brady has coincided parallel with the culture changing in terms of everyone having access to all 22 film, that a bunch of film experts on Twitter, a bunch of random people on Twitter are now football experts. We all consider ourselves wanting to know the game in a deeper, level of understanding, right? So we can get the all 22 and start breaking down film, even if we don't know. We all want to be Ben Solak. So I think that's why people like Brady now more, because he's so detailed with his shoulder stuff that we wouldn't care about if John Madden said. John Madden went 4 minutes on Eugene Robinson, Rick Meyer eating a hot dog on the sideline. That's what people used to like out of their analysts. So I think the reason Tom's getting a better reviews now is because people are more inclined to want to try and become football experts themselves, and they want to be taught that way, which is not a bad thing. It's a compliment to Tom Brady that he can do that.
Here's another one. Instead of saying Romo sucks, let me explain why he's worse. He keeps saying the weather changes the game and makes it harder, and talked about the conditions. The viewers can see that. It's obvious. His job should be to explain how teams and coaches should adjust to the conditions rather than just pointing out that it's snowing. And I've never seen it snow like this in a playoff game and change from the
Jim,
the first half to the
seen
fourth.
it snow like this, Jim.
These are interesting, witty observations by Romo. Why people
They're
don't
not
like
interesting. They're what we're all sitting and seeing on the couch.
I think they're funny. They're entertaining.
That's entertaining.
Well,
that's more entertaining than somebody actually telling you about what's happening on the field than him saying, look at these snowflakes are big.
I'd rather chuckle in the 20 seconds between than have to hear about shoulder separation every single play. Now, I'm not saying what Brady's saying is wrong or interesting to some people.
Okay, if Drew Brees was saying what Tom Brady is saying, would you be saying the same thing?
I don't know. Drew Brees is boring, I'll be honest with you. Actually, I know what you're saying is because
if Aaron Rodgers was saying this.
Aaron Rodgers is 100 times more interesting, in my opinion, than Brady.
So him talking about shoulder separation and angles, that you would eat up.
Maybe it depends.
Okay,
He
all
hasn't.
right.
Well, he hasn't.
That's
done
what
it.
we want to
well,
hear.
Hold on, he hasn't.
We just
done
want to
it.
hear you.
I don't
admit
know. He hasn't done it. Tom's gotten a lot better this year. I like Tom this year than last year, and everything people are saying about him is true. Like he's improved. He's got his pacing with his humor a little bit. It is better. I'll totally agree with that. And he's worked at it. He's improved. Good on him. But everyone has a different taste with their analysts. And my taste has always been the Tony Romo types.
Now, last one here, Drew. I apologize. Buy or sell. If Brady was making the same amount of money as Romo,
that matters.
Would you be able to admit that he's far better?
Oh, sure, because you're getting the price point.
Okay.
That matters.
And there we go.
Well, am I wrong? If Brady's making the most any analyst has ever made, Billy, he should be the best there ever was.
And he's the best one in the game right now.
Well, some believe that. Yeah. Some believe he is. And he's getting paid like it. So, I mean, is he better than Greg Olson, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. That's changed, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's changed.
And again,
He's really improved.
he's
Brady
also doing it his second year. Like
wants to be the
He's
best.
definitely
Yeah, and
improved. There's no question.
But again, there's people that we so blindly despise, and I appreciate that we can still have that kind of hate and venom in sports. Because Drew, I'll tell you where it's not in: country music.
There
You
go.
want to talk about somebody and people
Good
that
point.
love each other, like country music fans and country music singers love country music. You ask a country music singer about country music, they'll just tell you about great things about country music.
Right.
And country music is coming to East Troy, Wisconsin.
It is September 26th. Luke Bryan, special guest Drew Baldridge, Lauren Watkins, and Ray Lynn. And we have a pair of tickets for you next. 877-794-1973. Billy's going to have a trivia question for you. Might be about Luke Bryan, might be about trucks down at the lake, might be about Tony Romo. There will be trivia. It's the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Daddy's tractor up on the toolbox, it don't matter. Down on the tailgate, girl, I can't wait to watch you do your thing. Shake it for the young bucks sitting in the honky tonks, for the rednecks rocking till the break of dawn. The DJ spinning that country song. Come on, come on, come on. Shake it for the
The Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew Wilson, Bill Schmidt, Armin Sarian bringing it to you. Going to give away some Luke Bryan tickets momentarily, but first got to remind folks of my friends at Game Day Men's Health. I'll be visiting them on Thursday, as I do weekly. My friends Patty and Abby and all the crew down there at the Brookfield location. Find a location near you. Sign up for that free no-obligation test. You guys should go in and get tested, both of you, because you're both, Armin especially, when you get north of 40,
I know you're middle-aged over there.
You lose some motivation. You lose some muscle mass. Your testosterone's dropping because you're aging, and they might be able to help you. They have a number of treatments. If you don't need it, they won't try to sell you anything. That's the way it is. That's the beauty of a free, no-obligation test. A little introductory offer there to go get it tested and take a look, and they'll walk through the results with you and see if you can benefit from their treatments. They've helped thousands. Clinics all over the state. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Find a clinic near you. Sign up for that free, no obligation test. Go in and take care of it. It can change your life. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. All right. The show, Luke Bryan, Alpine Valley, September 26th. Big tour. The Word on the Street tour. Special guests, Drew Baldridge, Lauren Watkins, and Ray Lynn. That's going to be a whole day of partying at Alpine Valley.
Oh, big party there. Now, that is going to be a real party. Now, I got two questions, and you guys are going to have to tell me what kind of party we're going to try to have here.
Okay, let's do it.
We're going to try to have a Tony Romo party or a Luke Bryan party.
Well, we were just piling on Tony Romo, and that is kind of the thing that we're talking
Bryan
about.
Party? What are we...
A Luke Bryan party? All right, we got a Luke Bryan trivia question here.
All right.
We got a Luke
Fair
Bryan
enough.
trivia question
Yeah,
here.
if you're going to go see the show, you got to know something about Luke Bryan.
You got to know a little something about
All
Luke
right.
Bryan. Simple question. Which college mascot, as the celebrity guest picker, did Luke Bryan once kiss live on television on College Game Day? 877-794-1973.
Good one.
Which mascot did Luke Bryan once kiss on College Game Day? All right, let's go to the phones. Our first contestant is Eric in Baraboo. Eric, welcome to the Huddle.
Hi.
Hi, Eric.
Did you hear the
I
question?
don't watch College Game Day. I did.
Well, what's your guess?
Do you have a guess of any mascot?
Georgia Bulldog.
Oh!
Cue me up in there, Armin.
With a hobnail boot. It's all dogs. I called my guy in Vegas. I went heavy in Vegas on my dogs. 8 points don't scare me. Keely Ringo.
Bark and step on their face with a hobnail boot or Tennessee's dream season. Can you give him some sugar in there, Luke? Give him a little kissy. There you go.
Give him a little kissy as he gives Big Ugga number
How about
8
that?
the kiss live as the number 3 Georgia Bulldogs take on the number 1 team
Yes.
and the Tennessee
Eric,
Volunteers.
You're right, Eric.
Atta baby, Eric.
You don't watch College Game Day.
Yeah.
You have no idea, and you just guessed the Georgia Bulldog, did you?
I know he's from Georgia.
Well, there
Well,
you
that
go.
was a good
There we
guess.
go. All
And
you
let's
needed
be
to know.
honest, he's
Didn't
one
hear
of,
her name.
one of the more kissable mascots.
You better believe
You
it.
know, come on.
Oh, my goodness.
It's
And
true.
Ugga is always the
Well,
cutest one.
Bucky be better.
Yeah, but that's not a live badger. You get my
Bucky
point?
also might eat your face
That's
off
the
in
thing.
that kiss,
I
right?
mean,
like, that's the
and-
only thing.
And
Ugga
nobody's
probably
kissing
smells
Purdue
better
Pete.
than the Bucky costume does.
That's a good point. Hey,
All right,
Chris,
well-
hang on. I need to get your info.
Yeah, hang on the
Congratulations.
line. Eric, congratulations.
Atta
People
baby,
really
Eric.
win on our program. That's
Awesome.
fantastic.
Congratulations. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Eric. Thank
I mean,
you.
He didn't know. I mean, he just pulled that one out of his arse. I
That
love
was
it.
good. That was awesome.
And it did exactly what we were hoping it would. It showed some institutional knowledge about one Luke Bryan.
Georgia.
Just easy.
Yeah.
I knew he's from Georgia. Got to guess Georgia Bulldogs. Because if he was kissing a yellow jacket from Georgia Tech,
Sure.
you want to talk about a tough one.
Oh, it
That's
would
a
have
tough
been.
mascot to kiss.
It would have been a very, very difficult and courageous one to kiss.
And frankly,
Put
in
a
the
smooch on
SEC, Ugga is probably the only one you could. Right? There's 7 different Tigers.
No, you're not going to mess with the Tigers.
3 or 4 different Wildcats.
Probably not going to mess with that.
Good luck for the Crimson Tide with the elephant, Alabama.
Could you kiss?
You might get
Bevo?
close enough.
Could you kiss
Sure.
Bevo?
Oh, and the Longhorn?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
No, but I think you
Dangerous.
could do it if those boys are holding them. Like, you know,
Yeah, but it's a dangerous deal right there.
It's dangerous, yeah.
Would Eric Church kiss the Ram from North Carolina because he's a North Carolina guy?
That might be interesting.
The Ram.
Now, there's some people that are saying, do I have to kiss the Sooner Mobile or one of the girls that's driving the Sooner Mobile?
There you go.
That people would sign up for that, but then you also do have to get tipped over because the Sooner wagon
it
always flips
always
over.
flips over.
Congratulations to
team.
Eric and Baraboo. Armin's going to grab his information and
Had a
we'll
baby,
get him
Eric.
his tickets to see the Word on the Street tour, which is coming up September 26th, Alpine Valley Music Theater in East Troy. And that is going to be a blast. Give you something to look forward to the entire summer.
I'm looking forward to, on the other side, we got to get back into this conversation about broadcasters.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of takes on the talking text line about broadcasting and who's the best, who's the top guy. Jonah in River Falls did say, you guys forget about Mike Tirico if you think Brady's the best in the game right now. Mike Tirico, play-by-play, hand raised in air, was never my flavor of the day. He is sublime.
Yeah,
and
he's great.
Continually gets better and better. And if there is a big moment, he has not missed it. So I'm excited to hear how the Super Bowl sounds with Tirico and Collinsworth there on NBC, because that is going to be a treat, no doubt
It's
about
going
it.
to be pretty good. But the lead-in Sunday night, Burkhardt and Brady were really good.
Really, really
They
good.
set the bar pretty high. That was a
Really
pretty good
good.
broadcast. It was a pretty good show. And again, Brady's improved by leaps and bounds
That's
from his
true.
first broadcast in the first year. He's putting in the work.
Couldn't agree more. And Tim in Cambridge, Romo's better than Troy Aikman at least. At least I don't have to hear 1,000 good jobs firing up in here.
Yeah, Aikman, though, I think part of it is that Aikman picks his spots, and he doesn't, like, Romo's just nonstop.
Just going. Just letting it ride.
Romo is more a stream of consciousness. That's true.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yep. And he just, like,
It just comes out, whatever
just
it
comes
is.
out, whatever.
There's
it
a beer
might be.
vendor over there. They sell beer at NFL games. What do you think, Jim? Do you have one, Jim? Never
All
said
right.
that.
All right,
Like
we,
when Madden did stuff like that. Okay, I guess.
we're going to put a little bow on this here program. It's already coming to an end. They got to rip the jerseys off of us. They got to, like Jet Williams said earlier, they got to pull us off the field.
Drag me off the
us
field.
off the field. And we're going to finish strong when we come back. It's The Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
To the radio all night long. I can't believe that it came back on, but here it is. She was like, "Come here, boy, I wanna dance." For I said a word, she was taking my hand, spinning in the headlights.
action. We're into the home stretch. 2-minute drill here. Final segment before we slide down the back of the dinosaur and then start thinking about tomorrow at 5 a.m.
Hey, thanks to everyone finding us, by the way. All morning.
Today marks our 1 week anniversary.
1 week anniversary, and we know it's an early start, but what are we up to? 1,300 here on the video stream, and thousands more listening on the app and over the air and 1070 and 920.
That's where our friend Jeff in Fitchburg said, "Thank goodness you guys are on the air. I travel a good bit for work, so I missed the last 2 weeks, and every time I've popped on 1070 for just a minute, I've heard some syndication." And I was just like, damn, didn't know what was happening, and all my load was gone, but
here we
none not to be deterred or concerned. 1070 The Game in Madison, 1070 Fox Sports Wisconsin in Madison. The best remnants are still on the air. Be good and be well. And Jeff and Fitchburg, be with us here every day at 5 a.m. Janie in Appleton is always with us on the Talking Text line. And Drew, she wants you to know that people are still doing it. People are still out here in these streets, and people are still out here in these bars. We don't do pro football in bars anymore, but our favorite sports bar for Badgers and Brewers is Scuba's Poorhouse in Appleton. Neighborhood bar vibes with great bar food, best fish tacos in the valley. I'll have to take your word for that one, Jamie. I won't try the fish tacos, but I do want to check it out. Sound is on, and the people are into the games. I hope that never goes away.
I like that. Now, she said best fish tacos in the valley. We talked about the wing rankings. I think we're going to need her fish taco rankings.
It's a good point. I would appreciate that one. Yes.
Yeah. How about AAA Dante, an old friend checking in on Facebook? What's up, fellas?
Come on,
Great to hear from you, AAA.
Good to see you, AAA Dante.
Great to see you out here.
Mike did send in his wings rankings of the city of Milwaukee. Hit us with Double Dubs, the food truck. I got to figure out where this food truck is.
Hold on now. Food truck wings? Hold on. I know food trucks are big now.
Double Dubs. If somebody can let us know where Double Dubs is, because
but it's a truck. They move around. That's the toughest part. Usually, they're in one spot.
Generally, you park the food truck in a spot.
I know they usually park. Yeah.
But
it's pretty good stuff.
Continue to reach out to us 877-794-1973. Talking text line never closes. So it's just open for you. And we didn't change the number when we moved over here to broadcast on 920 in Milwaukee.
My favorite answer on the Talking Text line. Is this the same number?
Yeah.
Well, think about it. In the landline days, you were moving to houses. You had to get a brand new number. And then you had to get a whole new,
That's true.
Now, these days, everyone keeps their number. It's cell phone days. Everyone keeps their number. That's why, you might be living in one place, but you have the same number you had when you were 15.
Here's a generational question for you two with young children. Do you still have a landline phone in your house?
Not a chance in hell.
No, we don't.
See,
when we
we
moved,
did, and we kept it because that was the one that my Sprout knew, right? And we didn't want her to memorize 2 cell phone numbers, but she knew our phone number at the landline, so we did keep it for a while. But now it's most people probably don't have a hardwired landline phone.
My parents still do, which I appreciate, but it never works as well.
It was also for a long time. I imagine most people still had it because it was just that. Tie in with the bundle.
I had the bundle, yeah.
So it worked out better and you saved more money.
I actually have a landline number assigned to me. I don't even know what it is, but I've never hooked a phone up.
Don't have one
it,
plugged in.
But it's part of the internet cable.
Yeah.
Because I still have a Spectrum cable.
So it's a nice thing to know, like, if indeed all things went to hell, you could just steal one of these phones from the Megaplex and run that thing.
When we moved into our new place in the laundry room, there was one of those real old ones, against the wall with the big curly Q. And it was like red and it's still there. I was like, I'm gonna pretend this is a real phone one of these days and do the laundry, talking on the phone. I remember my grandma used to have the longest curly Q deal going, so she could be in every area of her house talking on the phone. That's one of my great memories. So
the cordless phone was a total game changer.
Yeah, it was a game changer. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
When you went to your friend's house and they had the cordless phone,
I'm like, man, you guys are cool. You guys are rich, man. You spent $20 at Sears on that cordless
Radio Shack.
Yeah,
and when
that's
you had
true.
Game over.
All right. I got one last buy or sell for you. We didn't really talk much about Lori Nichols' column from yesterday, where she basically said that John Horst should step up and answer some questions rather than making Doc Rivers and Giannis be the guys who answer every question about the state of the team and what's going on. And I get that you're not asking him what are you going to do at the deadline to make this better? But there are questions that need to be answered that Bucs fans probably deserve an answer to. You buying or selling that it would help if John Horst, and for that matter, you think about it in this market, Matt Arnold, Brian Gutekunst, and John Horst, they're all backbench guys. They're all just in in the background. None of them has a radio show or anything like that. A lot of other markets, the GM, they're peacocking, they're wearing suits on the field and trying to look cool and stuff. Like, these guys are grinders, and I like the work that they do. But when it comes to accountability and taking, and just being upfront with your fans, you could probably ask for a little more.
You could do better, and the John Horst one is a question, and I would wonder. I'm buying all of it. I'd also wonder if some of it.
But to his credit, it's not like he did a lot of press conferences and availabilities when they won the damn championship.
Right.
No. He hasn't changed, but the franchise has changed, and their fortunes have changed to the point where there are more questions.
John's also kind of been in the background most of his career, right? Like when he grew up and built himself there,
and that's so. So's Goody, and Matt Arnold's a California guy, but he's assimilated into this Midwest. And again, like, you judge the results, and there's a lot of GMs that are flashy and but there's no
come at you with a bunch of catchphrases and business models that are going to
they come running for microphones.
Yes, and also, let's be honest.
So
praise and a lot of times a little bit of grace when things don't go well. I would say it this way, Drew, because I also think the Bucs have to do it somewhere in the middle, right? Everybody would love to be the Green Bay Packers. Brian Gutekunst will talk 5 times a year. Combine, draft, end of draft, camp, end of season.
Yep.
Well, we haven't gotten the last one. We still don't.
Right.
We still haven't heard from him in the end of the season. Sometimes he'll speak multiple times during training camp. But that's a lot of times if there's something to discuss, right? Jordan Love's contract a couple of years ago. That was something to discuss. Where I struggle with it is I don't want to hold everybody to the Doug Melvin standard, because I was lucky enough to be a Brewers fan when you and Dan would get him to just stop in during the week.
He'd be driving around here, Needles say something stupid and call in.
I was going to say call in and call out Needles for something he was saying about Coco Cordero and being like, this is wrong. But that part is never going to come back. I do appreciate Matt Arnold is available. I just don't think he wants to talk, right? He would.
No, he doesn't.
I just don't think he cares.
A lot of those are, I guess, off the record conversations.
Yeah, and he'll give you
chatting,
something.
and he'll but he's available, but he's busy too, and I get it. But
he's always good when he comes up on the television broadcast. But he comes on maybe once or twice, once a homestand, once every other homestand.
Yeah, about that. Yeah,
might be a good idea for John Horst to even do that at halftime.
Exactly.
Sit next to Lisa Byington for 5 minutes at halftime.
Pregame, absolutely.
Or maybe even ownership. I agree with Horst, but maybe even hear from ownership. I mean,
nice to hear from Glessing.
We haven't, well, he got the welcome
and Policy did
the
the car wash when he got the gig, or right before the transition happened. But then that's a guy that should be background, but the GMs should probably be a little more visible in this market than they are.
Do you think there's some of it where he's waiting because they're going to have to be rather forward facing and talk a lot about something that potentially is going to happen here in the next week and a half, and then that's when he's going to talk to all of us?
Potentially.
A lot of the smoke yesterday, and a lot more Giannis conversation rooms. I just say this: I don't know that Mark Spears has ever had something right about the Bucs, so I wouldn't throw that one right near the top of the list. But I think it's so loud right now that it's clear and obvious something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Either the Bucs are going to buy something or they're going to sell off big time. So it should be fun in the next week and a half.
It is, absolutely. Tomorrow on the program, we're going to have some more fun. We'll give away more tickets to see Luke Bryan. We're 2 pairs into the week already. We're going to be doing it every day.
I might just take one of the pairs,
week.
by the way.
Not a bad idea.
Probably shouldn't have said that on
the air. Also, Hot Take Hump Day and our buddy El Jefe. It's hockey night in Milwaukee.
Big one.
Come see me tonight. I'll be there.
Hockey night in Milwaukee.
Sweet.
Yep.
Goody on, too.
We're going to talk to El Jefe. President of the Admirals, John Greenberg, joins us on Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you bright and early, 5 a.m. tomorrow. It's been The Huddle.